Everybody, welcome back to another day, another week, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about Crimson Desert. We got a video to watch. It's called IGN's Response to Crimson Desert's Success is a Height of Ignorance by Dalfang. And then we're going to also read an article by Paul Tassi calling Why did critics like Crimson Desert less than players? If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, watch videos, give you my thoughts and opinions, get your thoughts and opinions, get you through a couple of hours of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And then that's it. If you guys like it, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. You can also support us by listening to the music. It's over on iHeart, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you can download music from. You can go over there, listen to it, buy it, stream it. So appreciate it very much. What's going on, chat? What's going on, Ward? Good morning. Eclipse, Aku, Altern, Michelle, and Little Beastie. Who else is here? Wonder Rose, good morning. Baby B, good morning. Sarge, what's going on? Eclipse, Roic, Jesse Mack, Big Mo, what's going on, man? All right. How's everyone's weekend? I didn't sleep very much because I've been playing a game. I don't know if you guys have heard of this game. It's a brand new game. What's up, Mr. Z? It's called Crimson Desert. I have 83 and a half hours in this game. 83 and a half hours. I know you're like, well, when are you playing? I'm playing in between every moment that I have. Like, so I'll do my honeydew list, and when I'm done, I'll sit down for like 20 minutes, go do a mission, right? Then I'll do something else, and then I'll come back, and then I'll do a mission. And then I do a 6-hour span from like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night to like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So I've been putting in time. It's because the counters broke, supposedly. Super Dave said something in Discord saying that YouTube. I never look at the number anyway, Jesse Max. I really don't care that there's people. It does affect because when people look at the video, they're like, "How come no one's watching?" And they won't come in. But yeah, it'll say 0 or 1, supposedly. So that's just the way YouTube is. So just the people in chat, right? If people are talking in chat, that's all that matters. I really don't care about the actual number. So yeah, 83 hours inside Crimson Desert, and I'm hating every moment of it. No, not really. I absolutely love it. There's things in this game that keep surprising me, and I'm not looking up anything. I'm not watching people's videos. I'm just exploring. So I have 83 and a half hours, and I'm still in the first section. I still have places I haven't been in the first section. I'm in chapter, I think 6 or 7. I think I'm halfway through 7. And holy Christ, it's good, man. It's good. But we're gonna watch and also read an article here. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys playing Crimson Desert? Are you enjoying it? Did you play it? Did you hate it? Put it down. Let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the live chat. Let's get to... You guys want to watch the video first, or you want me to read the article first? You guys let me know. Let me... actually, we could do a poll. Let's do a poll. Let's get active here. Let's see. All right. Let's start the poll. You guys want the YouTube video, or do you want the article first? Let me know. Jason, good morning, Jason. Said Sony pulled an Apple. Yeah. Yep, sure did. Eclipse says, man, I'm wrong. I'm clicking on the wrong chat. Man, I only have 50 hours.
Huff celebrates 14 months of membership. Happy Monday morning, all.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for the 14 months. Eclipse says 50 hours in it, and Marvel Heroes has destroyed me. I can't stop playing. Wait a minute. You've been playing Marvel Heroes this entire time? I can't do it right now. I'll play Marvel Heroes. It's been gone for many years. I'm just going to stay off of it until I'm done with Crimson Desert, which will be in a very long time. A very long time. I'm not going to do it. Ward, thank you very much. I don't know why it didn't pop up. There it goes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the 14 months. Chat is extremely lagging because of YouTube as well. Fantastic. Let's see what's happening here with the YouTube video first. Looks like it's only 7 votes happening right now, but 71%. Since there are only 7 people in here, so let's go with that. All right. I think we watched this gentleman's video last week or 2 weeks ago. Dalfang. We watched his first video. Let's watch his second video here. We'll end that. End the poll. All right. So this is the arrogance of IGN. Okay.
After publishing what is probably the most not even a week after publishing what is probably the most consequential bad review in recent gaming history, a review that crashed Pearl Abyss.
I'll be honest with you. Gaming reviews. This is why I don't review games, guys. This is why I don't review games. One, because we've talked about this in the past. Game reviewers have a time to get the review done in. You know what I mean? If you ever watch Angry Joe, he does reviews and they're like done weeks afterwards, right? He buys his own games, he plays the games, and then he gives you a review weeks after. So if you take this and you do what I always preach on this channel, where if you're on the cusp of a game, you don't know if you like the game, you don't know if you should buy the game, I say never pre-order a game. Don't buy, no pre-orders, no day one, no full price for a half-ass game, okay? As much as Crimson Desert that I love, that I have 83 and a half hours in, there was problems with this game when it came out. And within 10 days, they have squashed a lot of the problems, not 2 years like other companies, right? 10 days, they've took most of the complaints out, okay, of people. A lot of people still can't play it for some reason on PlayStation 5 or whatever. I still see people that are like, they can't do it or whatever. But I think that's more of a bad taste in their mouth since what happened, which is understandable. But they are crunched for time. It doesn't matter if they give them a month. It doesn't matter if they give a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is. There's always this thing in the back of their head, like, I have to get this done. This is their job, right? This is their job. So they try to push through stuff. They try to go through the main campaign. And because there's a template to do for game reviews, right? They play the game. They're like, all right, well, I got another review in 4 days, in 5 days. I'm just going to through the main story, and this is what I'm going to do. And then they review the game based on the criteria of, well, the story, the time, and whatever. Instead of just telling you what the game is, giving you enough information about the game, and then you decide, instead of them telling you that this is what the game is, if it's good. And this is why I hate score systems. This is why I like ACG, where he says, buy, don't buy, wait. That's what I like about stuff like that.
This is stock, 40%, that was substantially written about things patched away in 72 hours, that 3 million people ignored with their own money. IGN just published another Crimson Desert piece. And this time, they...
Yeah. Crimson Desert patches can't fix the biggest issue. Crimson Desert's patch its way to Cyberpunk 2077 victory? Are we kidding me? Are we kidding me, chat? Do people forget how broke Cyberpunk was when it came out? I think people forget how broke it was. Crimson Desert is not broke. It's people just don't like the controls. They don't like the stuff. It is in no way in the same ballpark as Cyberpunk or 2042 or Fallout 76.
Called the developers naive designers. I want you to sit with that for a second before we go any further. Naive designers. The studio that spent 8 years building one of the most technically complex, visually extraordinary, seamlessly handcrafted open worlds this medium has ever produced. Naive designers. Written with complete confidence by someone who has never written a line of code, never designed a single game system, never taken one creative risk in the medium they've spent their career evaluating. Someone whose entire professional existence.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. I totally get where like armchair, and this is exactly why I don't do reviews. I don't do reviews. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on a video game that I'm playing, that I'm enjoying, right? And I'll tell you what's good, what's bad, but I don't give you a review and be like, well, this is a 7. This is 7, this is 6. I just tell you, yeah, I'm having fun. I'm having fun with this game. This is what I play, right? People didn't like Avowed. I played Avowed. I was like, Avowed's good, right? It's not great. It's good, okay? I played other games that people have said they're great, and I'm like, that's a bad game. It's a bad game. These are all my opinions, right? And then the masses look at some of these games, and most of the time, they agree with me. Most of the time, they don't. Or I'm sorry, most of the time, they agree with me. Other times, they don't, right?
Whose platform, whose audience, whose institutional power.
Jack says 30. Are you saying there's no issues with Crimson Desert, or you haven't experienced it yet? No, Jax, what I'm saying is IGN is comparing Cyberpunk 2077 issues with Crimson Desert. They're not even on the same plane. They're not even on the same ballpark. They're not even in the same existence of the universe. Okay? Cyberpunk came out and literally broke. Sony gave refunds back because people couldn't play the game. That is not happening with Crimson Desert. PlayStation 5, Real Life Fake Wizard showed and talked about why he couldn't play it. They fixed that. Okay? Not in 18 months. In 3 days, they fixed that problem. Right? In another 7 days, they had another patch. They fixed a whole bunch of other issues that people were having. But in no way, shape, or form is Crimson Desert broke. People don't like the gameplay. They don't like the control scheme. They don't like the other, whatever it is. Don't liking and not be able to play are two completely different things. That's what I'm saying.
Exists precisely because Pearl Abyss did the hard work, and 3 million people wanted to experience it. Without the studio's building and us consuming, there is no IGN. There is no platform.
You don't need IGN. This goes with anything. If a product is out and we don't buy that product, goodbye product, right? If people are watching my YouTube channel, then my YouTube channel becomes bigger because more people watch and more people are saying, right? If people stop watching my YouTube channel, people are like, oh, well, I guess it's a channel, right? People buy a video game, they play a video game, it's a popular video game, and when they stop playing the video game, it goes down in a video game, right? That's how products work. IGN is obsolete. We do not need IGN. You have YouTube and Twitch and all these other people. You do not need one organization telling you what's a good game or bad game. You can literally go to any content creator, any person. Back in the day, you just went to your friend. Your friend would say, hey, did you play this game? You're like, no, I haven't played this game yet. And they're like, this game is awesome. You're like, that's all I need to hear. That's it.
There is no Metacritic score. There is no institutional authority. The whole apparatus is entirely downstream of the thing it's condescending about. And they called those developers naive. So I want to ask the question
I've never used well, actually I have a spear, but I haven't used it like he's using it.
Yet IGN seems to have asked before publishing this. What exactly is this confidence built on? Because 20 years ago, sure. 20 years ago, IGN served a real and legitimate function.
Sure, because 20 years ago, we don't have the internet that we have today. We don't have YouTube. We don't have YouTube in the form that it is today. Okay? We don't have Twitch. We don't have any of this stuff. You needed to watch the videos of IGN because they were the only ones getting access to the games, to talk about the games, to get the games first and play it. We don't live in those days anymore.
You couldn't watch 40 hours of gameplay on YouTube before buying. You couldn't pull up a Twitch stream of someone 200 hours deep in a game. You couldn't read 10,000 Steam reviews from actual players who bought it with their own money. The information gap was real. It
was real because they not only did they own it, but they ran it. They told you exactly what games were good, what games are bad, and that what made them credible is because they had access to these companies.
Institutional access was real. Review copies, preview events, publishing infrastructure, the ability to reach millions before anyone else could. The authority had a genuine foundation, and it earned its place in this ecosystem. But what is that foundation in 2026?
There's no foundation. It's absolute just crumbled.
YouTube exists. Twitch exists. Steam exists. The entire information monopoly that justified 20 years of institutional authority has been completely democratized. The gap that made IGN necessary is long gone.
I know exactly where he is on the map. That's the funny part. I know exactly where he is on the map. That's how long I've played the game now.
And here's what gets me on a personal level. Gamer to gamer. Every game referenced in this article. Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, Valheim, Red Dead Redemption. I've played all of them. Thousands of hours across most of them. So have most of you. So have the 3 million people who bought Crimson Desert.
It's actually closer to 5 million now. It'll be 5 million this week. I have a prediction that they will come out sometime this week and tell you that they have 5 million sales.
We experienced everything he experienced.
I said it last week on GXG. I was like, by Tuesday next week, I think they'll have a 5 million, maybe Wednesday. They'll have a thing that says 5 million.
We know everything he knows. We've lived in every world he's drawing on to make his comparisons. There is no enlightenment the badge confers. No insight invisible to us that becomes visible to him by virtue of working at IGN. No asymmetrical information. No technical expertise. No game development experience. Gamer to gamer. He thinks he's more qualified to evaluate this game than the people who bought it, played it, and loved it. And the 3 million copies, the very positive Steam rating, and the rebounding stock price are 3 independent data sources all saying the same thing at the same time. That's what this video is about. Not just the bad review, we've covered that. Not just the face-saving follow-up piece they just published, though we're going through it in detail. It's about the specific...
IGN's very big. It'll be very hard to have IGN close. This is why IGN has bought other avenues as well. Right? They're not to say they'll never go away, but it's just they're not going to just close up shop. At least not anytime soon.
Specific quality of arrogance that makes both of those things possible. The kind that only survives when it goes unchallenged long enough to stop feeling like arrogance and start feeling like authority. Let's go through it. The very
Aku for President 2028. Make taming great again. He'll label line as gaming terrorists and have the FBI look through all of their files. Ikaku too.
I love how you said, making taming great again. Thank you very much for the $5. Appreciate you. Gaming, not fucking taming. It doesn't matter. It's all right.
First sentence of this article is, love it or hate it, there's no denying that Crimson Desert has suffered something of a rocky launch. Rocky launch. 2 million copies sold on day one. I played on launch day and had a blast. The only thing rocky about this launch was legacy gaming media manufacturing informational chaos and calling it criticism. And I want you to notice what was in the original review and what wasn't. Controls, inventory management, boss difficulty. Every complaint was about surface-level friction.
Which they fixed, I want to say within 2 days, 3 days?
The kind of stuff any competent studio patches away in the first week. Pearl Abyss did it in 72 hours.
Yeah, so 3 days.
What was never in the review? The artistic vision. The sheer technical achievement of a seamless open world at that scale and beauty. The genuinely original design philosophy. None of the things that will still matter about this game in 10.
Yeah, if you go back and watch IGN's review of Cyberpunk, they never, it was a 9. They didn't care. There was problems. They didn't write about any of those problems.
Years registered. Just the surface. Just the stuff that was gone before the review was even cold. And now look at what this follow-up piece is actually doing. Everything that dominated the original review, the controls, the inventory, the boss difficulty, has been patched away. So the rocky launch framing has quietly shifted to the one thing patches can't touch. The story. That's what's left. That's the last redoubt. We've covered extensively in previous essays why that argument falls apart the moment you actually engage with what this game is trying to do. And we'll get into it again. But I want you to see the sleight of hand clearly first. One patch cycle invalidated the overwhelming majority of their professional criticism.
Yeah, so all the criticisms that they had for the 6 out of 10, whatever they gave, was fixed in 72 hours. Did they go back and fix the thing? No, they won't do that, of course.
And rather than acknowledge that, they reframed it. Rocky launch. Still standing. Still confident. As if the...
Krebsy, I never understand where you're coming from with the stuff, right? I'm not protecting the game because I'm enjoying the game, right? We're talking about IGN and when they review stuff, right? When they reviewed other games that were broke, they didn't mention the broke but stuff, and they still rated a high game. This game comes out not anywhere near as broke, still broke, okay? Not anywhere near as broke as other games, and yet they come out and say it's a 6. They don't backtrack on anything and say, oh, well, they came out and they fixed the stuff. They don't do any of that. Right? We understand that it's broke. We understand that. But they're not as broke as other games in the past that they've given higher scores to.
The ground beneath them hasn't completely shifted. Then we get to the paragraph that made me stop reading and just stare at my screen for a moment. It's unclear if the
Battlefield 6 is still broke. They gave that shit a fucking higher score.
development team has had to break their backs to do this. Think about what you have to believe about yourself to write that sentence. Pearl Abyss, a studio whose stock crashed partly because of a review substantially written about things they then fixed in 3 days, came back, listened, worked, and turned...
Right, and then doubled down. They came back 3 days after the patches and stuff came out, and then they doubled down and still criticized Crimson Desert.
And the entire conversation around in under a week. And the response is to wonder, in print, whether they had to work hard to do it. That's not neutral. That's a power move dressed up as a throwaway clause. It's the kind of sentence that lets you condescend to someone while maintaining complete plausible deniability about having done it. And then, assuming that's true, it would also mean that Pearl Abyss didn't see the glaring issues in Crimson Desert.
All this under a week, it's sort of thing that suggests that Pearl Abyss didn't just chuck Crimson Desert into the world unfinished with the intent of using players as beta testers. Oh, boy. The amount of I don't even know the word I'm looking for. Okay. The audacity, I should say, of IGN calling this game for beta testers instead of, I don't know, you could name 15 other games as beta testers. For some kind of stealth early access launch, nobody scrambles this hard unless it's an emergency. Assuming that's true, it would also mean that Pearl Abyss didn't see a glaring issue with Crimson Desert's design, be that the results, poor internal testing, naive designers, and simply not seeing the wood for the trees. Now it has an army of testers, 3 million strong. Many issues can be identified and fixed, but can everything be fixed? Are there initial successful patches, that groundwork for the comeback story akin to Cyberpunk? The comeback story? What are we talking about? I'm not sure, because Crimson Desert suffers from a much deeper issue that only extensive genetic modifications, not bandages, can fix. Like, what are we talking about?
Desert's design, be that a result
I feel like the Truman Show when Jim Carrey's like, who are you talking to?
of poor internal testing, naive designers, or simply not seeing the wood for the trees. Naive designers. What technical background, what engineering expertise, what game development experience sits behind the confidence required?
Right, they gave him a 9, Eclipse. They gave Cyberpunk a 9. Had a comeback story. That comeback story from a 9 to a 9.
To call the people who built this naive? The answer, as far as anyone can establish, is a media degree. That's it. That's the foundation. Something happens in the middle of this article that I think is the most revealing moment in the whole piece. After walking through the patches and grudgingly acknowledging that they worked, fast travel improved, storage box transformed the crafting loop, boss difficulty adjusted, they write this sentence. If you already like Crimson Desert's approach, I think there's a genuine possibility that it could be a contender for your game of...
Yeah, listen to what they said, right? Contender for your game of the year. Not game of the year. No, your game of the year.
The year by the summer. Your game of the
Yeah, you see how that's written? Your.
year. Not the game of the year.
Right, not a game of the year, not the game of the year. Your game of the year.
Yours. As in, for people like you. People with your particular taste. People who enjoy this kind of thing. Read that again and feel exactly how...
I think the reason that people keep giving them attention is to show how fucking retarded they are, Krebsy. Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah. You got to call them out.
How much condescension is packed into one word. They didn't correct the 6. They didn't reconsider. They just graciously extended permission for a certain type of player to enjoy a certain type of game.
Right, people are upset because of the way they chose. We talk about this on this channel, right? Make a game, sell a game. If you make a game, whatever that game is, right? You wanted to make a shopping cart simulator, whatever it is, right? You make the best goddamn shopping cart simulator. People go, I don't really like shopping cart simulator games, but the designers had a vision of what they wanted to make. They made that game. They sold that game. Sometimes people click with it, like TCG Card Simulator. Very simplistic, right? And they like that game. They're like, oh, there's something about this game. It just clicks, right? Sold a lot of stuff, right? Schedule 1. Guy made a game, sold a game. People clicked it. They're like, this is actually greatest graphics? No. Greatest gameplay? No. There's something about it. True to what they wanted to make. They made the game they wanted to make. Now, they made the game that they wanted to make. But people were pushing back going, why is jump different? Why is the controls all difficult? People are talking about it in a way where, because they played other games, they're like, well, this game's not like this game, so this game's controls suck. Which you can look at it and say, yes, the controls are different. But as you play the game, you don't even think about the controls anymore. Since then, they've actually fixed it. Because my biggest pet peeve about this game was every time and this is like Red Dead as well, when you had to pick up something, you had to like look at it and then hit X. But now all you do is just stand in the area and just hit X, hold X. You can even hold X, and if there's stuff on the ground, it'll just pick it up. It'll just pick it up now, right? They've made that fix. The biggest thing that I was like, this is so fucking annoying. You don't know how to put the thing in or pick the thing up. They fixed that. Problem solved. 3 days in, right? That was the biggest pet peeve that I had personally. Combat is just intuitive now. I'm like, oh, and you're not doing this when you're playing. You're going, like, you're holding RB, then you pray A, right? RB, RT, RB, X, RB, B, whatever it is. And your guy does the Batman stuff where he locks onto the other guys and then just keeps going back and forth through the fighting. You're not mashing buttons.
The hierarchy is completely intact. The authority never moved. They're still above it. They're just acknowledging that some people, with some tastes, might find value here. First, they condescended the developers, naive designers. Now they're condescending the players, the very people their entire existence depends on. Written with...
People will be playing this game. Hear me out. People will be playing this game years from now, and this game will be in conversations with Skyrim. Good or bad? People talk about Skyrim to this day, and people are still playing Skyrim because of what it is, what you can do. People will be talking about this game decades from now.
Complete confidence and zero self-awareness that without us, none of this exists. They complained, in the review and again here, that having to prepare for bosses was a design failure. Cooking food, managing resources, grinding to get ready for a difficult fight.
The storage box also helps with bosses, while the worst offenders have been... I didn't read the IGN article. Nerf bosses still represent natural difficulty spikes and must be prepared for. Improved inventory management means it's easier to keep up with the demands of the crafting system. There's not really a demand. It's not like I have to spend 5 hours mining stuff. You just playing the game, you get the stuff. It says it's not a burden to grab that ore, or you just saw because you no longer have to spend 5 minutes working out what's worth sacrificing from your unit or purpose backpack. Combine that with the fact that you don't need to cook up 1,000 bowls of soup to get through the Slayer. You also need everything to hold up and grind ahead of the bosses to reduce. Do you know what they don't tell you in these reviews? You know that all the artifacts and stuff that you have, and the stuff that you put on, the aspires and stuff that you put onto your weapons, you know you can upgrade those, right? You know you can go to tier 2 and tier 3, and 2 tier 1s make a tier 2, and 2 tier 2s make a tier 3, and 2 tier 3s make a tier 4, right? They don't say any of that. They don't tell you how to level up and how the whole system is. No. They're like, oh, you got to grind and do all these stuff for them. You can have a level 4 weapon, which you don't need that many iron or anything like that to upgrade your weapons, and then keep upgrading your other things. You guys know you can take jewels, like necklaces. So if you have 2 necklaces of the same, you can combine those and level up the thing without putting any resources in. Was that spoken of? Anything? No, they don't talk about that. This is a total result of these small tweaks that Crimson Desert now has more momentum. You get into a good stuff faster. With the substantial changes like this delivered to just a few days, it's understandable that the idea of Crimson Desert seeking something of a cyberpunk-style appraisal or reappraisal with a matter of weeks has crossed your mind. It already is like Crimson Desert's unique friction-heavy approach has been pushing through its flaws. I think there's a genuine possibility that it could also be considered for your game of the year by the summer, if it isn't already. But this is more like me, who is intrigued by Crimson Desert, but has struggled to connect with it. That's fine. And then I think the outlook, see, if you didn't connect with it, then just talk about what the game is. Because your job as a reviewer is to talk about the game. Not what you think about the game, but to talk about the game so the viewers, the readers of IGN can go, oh, that sounds like a game for me.
Too much of a burden. Punishing. And honestly, I had to laugh. Because the preparation in this game isn't a separate grind you stop and do. It's just what happens when you're actually playing. You're exploring, picking up ores naturally, buying mats from NPCs on the road, upgrading gear organically. By the time you reach a boss, you have more than enough if you've been engaging with the world at all.
Exactly. If you've just been playing the game, you've got the stuff.
The reviewer made it sound like he had to stop every...
Now, I will say, I kind of wish... I don't know why they start the game off like they do. Because if you do the gray main, like, town that you have to set up and stuff, it literally is the tutorial for the game. So was there stuff that happened behind the scenes? Pretty sure there was. And why it doesn't feel so straightforward and kind of convoluted. But if you're doing the gray main camp, it teaches you everything in the game. It is the tutorial. Hence why people are not getting the tutorial. They're still getting tutorial stuff 60, 70 hours in the game because they're going back and starting to upgrade the stuff in the camp. That is a problem with the game not telling you what to do, but they should, because they should be like, this is the first thing you should do is set up your camp to teach you stuff. But they don't do that, which is fine, because there are people that are 70, 80 hours in that haven't even touched the camp.
Everything and dedicate hours to farming.
They're making the game harder for themselves, but
that's not the game. That's someone who didn't understand how the systems work together, describing his own confusion as a design failure. And this person called himself a hardcore Souls player.
Yeah, you can go first person in this game, Travis. First person, you can walk around the entire time first person, but you can't combat in first person. You'll get nauseous and throw up because of all this, how fast you're moving.
But here's what makes this particularly pointed. Pearl Abyss listened anyway. They nerfed the bosses. They fixed the inventory. They added the storage. They responded with extraordinary speed and genuine care. And IGN is still standing by the 6. Because institutional arrogance doesn't update when reality...
Yeah, because if they change it, then it shows that they were wrong. They're not going to change it. Got to stand by what you put.
He pushes back. It just keeps going. Still certain, still confident, still writing think pieces about whether the patches were enough, rather than asking whether the review was.
Waterbear says, doing the gray main line opens up your skills more by giving you more abyssals. Yeah, it opens up everything to you. It teaches you how to craft certain things. It teaches you how to do the farming in your system. So instead of farming out in the world and trying to slaughter a whole bunch of stuff, you literally have cattle in your farm that you can process and then make the meat there. You can literally trade goods to get resources. You can send people out to have stuff. All of these things are taught to you inside the Gray Main camp, and this is bad design by them by not showing you this is what you should do, because they're trying to just let you play how you want to play.
And then we get to the part that I think most completely exposes the limits of how these outlets actually think about games.
It also actually kind of reminds me of Warframe back in the day. Warframe's like onboarding was like hit a wall and then goes completely straight up. And then over the years, Warframe kind of bent that out, so it was like a slowly learning what was going on in Warframe. If you played Warframe in the beginning, you were like, what the hell is going on? And that's why people stopped playing Warframe, because they were just like, I didn't know this was a thing, right? The onboarding for Warframe was bad until they, dulled the edges a little bit, so they make the wall come down a little bit so people could figure out, oh, I get it now. And then more people started playing Warframe.
Their argument is that Crimson Desert's story is a fundamental creative failure. Not technical, not a launch window issue, but baked into the bones. And to explain why, they invoke Cyberpunk 2077. I've played thousands of hours of Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is a cinematic experience first, and an open world second. That's the design philosophy, held completely and executed
Yeah, this is not that. This is the opposite of that.
Brilliantly. Every decision serves that vision. When you're in a Cyberpunk cutscene, you're not being taken out of the game. You're in the deepest part of it. That conviction produced one of the greatest games ever made. Crimson Desert has a completely different conviction. And here's the thing IGN cannot grasp. That difference is not a deficiency. It's a design philosophy. A deliberate, ambitious attempt to do something Western open-world design stopped trying to do years ago.
Right, they made cookie-cutter open worlds. They made cookie-cut and open worlds where this one is not cookie-cutter.
Let me tell you what I was doing while this article was being written. I found out there was an armor set somewhere in the world. The Shadows plate armor. Full Lich King aesthetic. Hood up, black robes, massive executioner axe.
Look how badass he looks. And here's the thing. I don't know where he got any of this. I don't even know this was in the fucking game. I have different gear that I got from the West. That's all I'll say, the West. Right? Like, look at him. I stumbled. I stumbled upon a fight yesterday. Okay. His name was Stag Lord, I think his name was, if I'm not mistaken. Right? up in like the mountains, the snowy mountains. What an awesome fight. What an awesome fight. And from that, I got this badass cloak. I got this badass shield. I got these badass things. And what I love about this game is that there's not a better weapon than the other weapon, right? You find the weapon, you find the armor, you find the stuff that you want to work and build up towards, and you use that armor. That's what I love about this. It's not about, I found this badass axe, and all of a sudden, you find a better weapon, and you're like, oh, this weapon's better. Yeah, in the short term, it is better, because maybe you found it, and it's been leveled up 4 times, and maybe it does 18 damage, and your thing does 18 damage now, and it's leveled up a couple times, right? But in the end, all the abyssal cores and stuff that you put on the stuff is what makes you badass. So just pick the weapon you want, pick the outfit you want to look like, and then just have fun, explore.
Nobody sent me to get it. No quest marker, no objective, no wait.
Is this that armor that I saw on Twitter, the guy that made himself look like Dr. Doom?
Point. I just heard it existed and decided I wanted it.
What's that shield?
What followed was genuinely one of the best gaming sessions I've had in years. I rode out with just a direction. Scaled mountains that looked like the Canadian Rockies, genuinely vertical. The kind of climb where you grip the controller tighter because you're not sure you'll make it. Stumbled into a witch's hideout built inside an ancient tree trunk in the Wayward Woods. Found it completely by accident because I'd gone the wrong way.
I don't know where this is. I don't know where this is.
Accidentally rode through a black bear camp and got chased halfway up a mountain by what felt like an entire civilization of absolutely furious barbarians. Dropped into desert canyons with waterfalls hidden inside them.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Travis. If people buy this game, they can play this game as long as they want. They don't have to wait for other people to come in the game. There doesn't need to be a player base, right? You buy the game, you own the game, you play the game. That's it. You don't have to worry about battle passes, season passes, upgrade passes, different things, cosmetic. Everything is just in the game.
Found border cities that weren't on any map I'd looked at. Still on Chapter 4. Main story untouched for hours. Nothing locked me out. The world just existed, vast and alive, and completely indifferent to whether I was following the plot. That's mediocrity? That's what I'm supposed to endure to get to the good stuff. And then they compare this to Starfield.
Oh my God, did they really? Let me see where this is. The reason why Cyberpunk 2077 and other games that launched in a rough state and went on to see big improvements like No Man's Sky, Owlcat's Pathfinder, and Warhammer 40k RPGs were able to turn things around was that their problems could be tackled by building upon already good design fundamentals from day one. Cyberpunk 2077 had a fantastic writing and brilliant quest. The initial issues rooted in the tech of performance, and the later 2.0 overhaul was focused on RPG progression and character skills rather than the game's campaign bedrock. Crimson Desert, on the other hand, has pretty poor quest design, campaign structure, and only worsened by paper-thin characters and writing with either dull or barely coherent. I could tell that this person didn't play any of the side quests whatsoever. They beelined the main story. In the sense of Crimson Desert is more akin to Starfield, which is accidentally getting your own major update in a matter of days. Bethesda's boss Todd Howard has already warned not to expect a 2.0 upgrade that will be converted skeptics into believers. This is a less part due to the fact that it will also require substantial changes in both campaign and game structure to meet the expectations. Bethesda instead focused on quality of life improvements and extra story content rather than overhauling a series of uninteresting missions that also make up the original campaign. Showing just how rare the turnaround of this kind of thing is when it's single-player games, fixing that the kind of issue isn't a case on patches or updates. It demands that Final Fantasy XIV grade redesign, a thing that surely will never happen. The Starfield's been out for 2 years, and they're just fixing it now. Cyberpunk was out for 2.5 years, and they just fixed it then. No Man's Sky was out for 3 years, and they started making improvements. These guys took 10 days to wipe out most of the problems that people had.
Starfield is procedurally generated emptiness connected by
This is not procedurally generated, by the way. This is handcrafted by people.
Loading screens. Crimson Desert is a handcrafted world you traverse seamlessly on horseback for hours, watching biomes change around you in real time. Putting them in the same sentence isn't analysis. It's proof the framework has broken down so completely.
100%.
It's producing conclusions that make no sense to anyone who has actually spent real time.
Yes, and this is what I'm saying. Those of you that haven't played the game and me saying this stuff, you're like, well, it's the same. It's not the same. You can tell the person that wrote the article, even though they have 130 hours in the game, I don't know what the fuck they were playing, because most of the stuff they say, I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what they're talking about.
In both worlds. And then there is this line, the one that I keep coming back to. To unlock Crimson Desert's more accomplished facets, you have to dedicate hours to mediocrity.
Oh boy. Here's the thing that we've lost along the way about playing video games. Is playing video games. You and I know that if you play a game, within minutes, you can tell if the game has got something or it doesn't connect with you or whatever. Okay. The fact that, again, a reviewer, this is his job. He has to sit there and play the game, because this is why I love Mexican food. I don't want to work in a Mexican restaurant because I probably won't like Mexican food again. I worked in the film industry for 20 years. It ruined movies for me. Okay. I get where these people that work in the video game industry, they're ruined, right? They don't play video games anymore. This is their job for them, and they have a structure, and they're trying to move their profession to some other profession. Okay. And they're trying to be like these like awesome writers to feel really in depth and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, someone playing the actual video game reads your article and goes, you didn't play the fucking video game. You didn't go into any of the depth of what this video game has. You went to basically, right, the top skim, like you skimmed off the top of the water of the muck. You actually didn't go into the actual game and play.
Think about what made World of Warcraft legendary. Not the endgame, not the raids. Riding through Elwyn Forest for the first time with no idea where you were going, in a world that felt like it had been there long before you arrived, and would continue long after you logged off. Think about what made Skyrim legendary. Not the main quest, but the feeling that over that mountain there might be something worth finding. And the world
That
making
view.
good on that promise often enough that you kept going.
Deep-ass snow there.
Neither of those games opened with their most accomplished moments. They opened with a world and trusted you to find it. That trust was the entire point. Crimson Desert is doing something much closer to what the great MMOs understood. That in a world this big and this alive, heavy narrative doesn't deepen immersion, it works against it. Every cutscene that locks you into a specific emotional experience reminds you you're watching someone else's story rather than living in your own. The short
And this is why it's not an RPG. I just got to a quest maybe 75 hours in where you get to pick and choose like what you want to talk about, but at the same time it's not anything like a Cyberpunk, a Fallout, a Skyrim. There's no RPG element to this.
well-animated story beats give you just enough context to feel the weight of the world of Pywell, without taking that weight out of your hands. By Chapter 4, Cliff's journey had already given me enough to feel genuinely invested. Not because the writing is flawless, but because the world around it is real enough that even an imperfect story lands differently than it would in a smaller space. That's not mediocrity. That's a design philosophy that requires a different vocabulary to evaluate than the one IGN is working with. And calling it mediocrity with that confidence from that position is the arrogance made completely visible.
That guy is 100%. The guy right there that he just picked up off the ground is Trevor from Grand Theft Auto 5. That character is almost 100% one-to-one Trevor, right? That's the guy's name from Grand Theft Auto?
The vocabulary doesn't exist in their framework, and rather than acknowledge that the framework might be the problem, they call the thing the framework can't evaluate mediocre. So here's the question this whole article forces me to ask, and I think it's the most important one we've raised in this entire series. What is IGN's arrogance actually built on? Because
it's built on that they're the only one that matters. Their arrogance is that they're the only one that matters, and what they say basically goes, right? Obviously, there's other outlets and stuff like that, but their arrogance is that we still need IGN like we did back in 2004, 2006, 2010. Okay, YouTube and Twitch invalidate them completely, right? Invalidate them completely.
Arrogance with a foundation is at least coherent. A surgeon with thousands of successful operations can be confident. An engineer whose bridge is still standing can be confident. Even a critic with a long track record of being demonstrably right can earn institutional confidence. The arrogance has something underneath it. What's underneath IGN's? We've played every game they reference. We've lived in Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, Valheim, Skyrim, World of Warcraft.
Right. We know all these games now, right? So when they make comparisons to certain things, you're like, well, that doesn't make sense.
We know exactly what they're drawing on.
Yeah.
And we can evaluate those comparisons as well as they can. Probably better.
Better because we played more. They've only played a certain amount because they had to do the review. Then they stopped playing.
Because most of us have spent significantly more time in these worlds than any reviewer on a deadline ever could. There is no expertise gap. There is no insider knowledge.
Right.
There is no technical foundation.
Right. There is no more advantage over anybody else because them getting an interview with somebody else gets an interview. Look at Destin Laguerre, right? He worked for IGN, now is on his own. All those contacts he made, he doesn't need IGN anymore. Now, obviously, does he still have connections and stuff with them? Yeah, but he can set up interviews with developers and high-end people with companies. You don't need IGN anymore.
What they have is institutional capital. 20 years of accumulated authority that went unchallenged long enough to start feeling like competence. The IGN badge doesn't come with expertise. It comes with a Metacritic score that moves stock prices.
Yes.
And for 20 years, that's been enough to crash valuations, shape what gets greenlit, call Korean developers naive, completely certain of its own authority.
Yeah, I think that's the same armor. I think that's the same armor someone made it look like Dr. Doom.
And gamers are not an easy crowd. We are the most cynical, hardest
100%.
to please, most forensically critical audience in entertainment. We tear games apart for a bad frame rate. We spend hours in forums dissecting
That's right. Gamers are so hard to please, but when you do,
quest design decisions. When we defend a studio rather than tear it apart, that means something. It means the studio passed a test that very few pass. 3 million of us independently decided with our own money that Crimson Desert was worth it. That's not a mob. That's a verdict from the hardest audience in entertainment. And the data makes the institutional failure...
That's the pre-order armor, isn't it?
...undeniable. 3 million copies despite the review.
I would never get that or wear it because you're going to find better gear.
Steam going very positive, in direct contradiction of the critical consensus. And most tellingly, the stock
I don't know what town this is. I haven't been here yet.
recovering. Because even institutional money is now recalibrating. The market itself is figuring out what gamers already knew.
I haven't been in Dominus yet. I haven't been there.
That IGN's verdict on Crimson Desert told you more about IGN's framework than it did about Crimson Desert. The one...
Yeah, every article they write like this, the people that actually play video games look at this and go, yeah, you guys keep destroying your own outlet more and more. What's going on, Argus?
One thing they were supposed to do, they failed at completely. And the market is learning to price that failure in. That's the collapse of institutional trust made visible in data. And their response is this article. Not an apology, not a reconsideration.
I don't think they have to make an apology. But they should go and make another piece, right? Because this is what I would do if I was a reviewer and I wrote something. And again, coming from other content creators, they're like, when we played the beta, when we played the early access, it was much harder. Less spawn points, less storage, boss fights were harder, right? And nobody was helping them because there was no YouTube to look up stuff, right? So they've all said that it was a much different game when they played it earlier on. Now it's come out. They've played it. Most of those people have changed their experience with it because now they fixed those things. IGN, all they have to do is they can keep their old one up or say in progress, right? They literally just said this for Marathon. Marathon review in progress because they were waiting for the cryo thing to come out and they were going to give the review afterwards. They could have done the exact same thing because their review was before the patch, before the game released, and then they just doubled down. Then they did it again. All they had to do is come out and go, now spending more time in the game with these patches, it fixed most of our problems. But they won't do that because they've already moved on to the next 10 games they have to review.
A face-saving piece written with the
He doesn't have the time to go back and do it.
same unbroken confidence as always. Because the arrogance only survives in the absence of accountability. So let me leave you with a question.
We're not talking about the PS price discussion, Argus. We talked about it on Thursday when it was rumored. It was the exact same. It's the same. We talked about what we were, if they did it, how stupid it would be. And then the next day on Friday is when it actually came true.
Question I've been sitting with since I read this piece. If IGN doesn't represent us, the gamers, and they don't make games, and the information gap that once justified their existence is long gone, and the YouTubers covering these same games have...
It's not an honest review, though. It's not an honest review. They don't have to apologize. They could just update their review. Because someone that now looks at that piece and doesn't have an update on it, Aaron, will now look at it and go, oh, I want to play Crimson Desert. They go to IGN because they like IGN. They go to IGN, they type in Crimson Desert and it says 6. It doesn't say update. It doesn't say after patch, after fixes, right? This is their job. Their job is to make sure that they're giving the best info possible, right? They have millions and millions and millions of people that go to IGN. So if they don't update their stuff based on what it is, then you're giving false pretenses of what the game was bad, but not what it is today.
Larger audiences, more hours played.
This goes across the board, not just for Crimson Desert, for any game, right? That stat for Crimson Desert is a 6. Cyberpunk was a 9, and it was broke. So broke that PlayStation stopped selling it. Not just give refunds. They stopped selling it on their PlayStation store because they wanted people to stop buying the game. IGN said it was a 9. Yet people kept buying it. 5 million extra people bought the game afterwards. Now, I don't want to say it's all because of IGN. And then more people got it, and they had to stop it. So PlayStation said, we have to stop people from buying this game. Right? You have to make sure that, and if you go back and look at the thing, it was a 9. You'll never see that it was broke. You'll never see that Cyberpunk was broke because they gave it a 9. Right? So they have to update it. But again, the business model doesn't do it. The business model, they do what they do, and they move on to the next game. They never go back to fix it.
More skin in the game, and are held accountable by their communities in real time. What exactly is justifying their existence in 2026? What are they actually for? I don't have a clean answer yet, but we'll explore it properly in a future video. What I do know is that the fact the question is even worth asking tells you everything about where we are. That's it from me. But before I go, once again, thank you. To everyone who showed up for this one, the comments, the shares, the support. It means everything, and it keeps this going. And genuine thank you to Enjoy GM, a longtime partner who has supported this channel through thick and thin. If you're playing Where Winds Meet, Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, or any other gacha, Enjoy GM lets you top up at better rates than you'd normally get. No account log.
All right, so there you go. Dalfang, that's his video. We're going to move over to Paul Tassie's article now of Crimson Desert, because he wrote an article on the 28th. If you guys like that video, go check him out. Hit the like button. Go hit the subscribe button. Yeah, these not just IGN, just reviewers in general. They're under time constraint to get the review done. That's their job. That's what they have to do. Okay? But if you're going to rate a game and then people start playing the game, look at this, right? Look at this for a second. This is Crimson Desert in the first week. Okay? The first week. Started at 205, okay? Dropped a little bit, and then word of mouth started popping off, right? Then this, on Saturday, it went up to 244, right? And then on Sunday, it went to 276. It went to its all-time peak. I don't know if you guys could see this, but this is when it came out. This is when it comes down, right? IGN's articles and stuff. And people are like, oh, this seems bad. Then they made improvements. Then they started putting the patches in, okay? The patch came in Thursday night. By Monday, Sunday night, Monday, it was already fixed for majority of the problems. Then people started watching. Word of mouth started happening. People started watching people play it on Twitch and YouTube and whatever else. And then all of a sudden, look at that, right? Went up quite a bit, right? Because their max, it went up another 30,000 from what it was. Just shy of 30,000. Just on this. To show you that word of mouth does work. Because people are looking at it and going, I don't understand. IGN said it was bad. These articles and these critics said it was bad. Why? And then you watch someone and you're like, I don't understand. They told me it was bad. I'm watching this person play the game. It doesn't look bad. All right, so let's go to Paul Tassi here. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations. I read the story for the first time on stream, give you my thoughts and opinions as we're reading the story. We get your thoughts and opinions in chat as well. We appreciate you. Hit that like. All right, so why do critics like Crimson Desert less than the players? Okay, Paul Tassi from Forbes. He says, I've seen a narrative form after a launch of Crimson Desert that many critics whiffed it on the reviews, which is aggregated, ended up giving a 78 on Metacritic. We can debate the current expectations of video game scores if you want, but that is it. That is bad for a game this big and alone because Pearl Abyss stock to tank, okay, went down 30%. Since launch, players have rapidly become more positive about Crimson Desert. Its Steam user score going from 51% to 83% positive in a week. The Metacritic score now tells well above the critic score with 8.6. So what happened? As a reviewer with the pre-launch access, I thought I'd dig into it this a little. He says, I'm not speaking for every critic, and if you want to know why many of the lower scores exist, you can go read those reviews. But I want to provide some context. This is not a defense of myself. Personally, as I gave Crimson Desert a 9.5, but the review process was interesting given the context of somewhat unprecedented game, at least in the scale and the obscured system. One big thing is we also played worst version of the game. This falls on Pearl Abyss as so much for the blatantly obvious that it should have been changed before the review period we had. Now, this is not the first time they've ever gotten a game that was incomplete before launch. We've covered many of these games, right? Extremely limited inventory space, which is a design choice, right? To the point of where the patches and dozens more slots and mid-review period. We did not have a camp storage, which is patched in a few days after launch. We barely had any meaningful fast travel points. None in said sites, none in the Grey Mare camp, where the main way to get there was to dive off the Abyss Island every single time. Right. So they made this plane up above, and people were using the up above data points and then jumping down, or the fast travel points. Pearl Abyss now has put more in the game in 2 different patches now. Okay. He says we had less responsive movement, the combat controls, something in the first post-launch patch. At one point, we had even less glide stamina than you do now. We had pre-nerf bosses. We also think of a giant monkey orc, and we also had the Reed Devil are hard now. And this is nothing compared to what we were, and those were rough main story walls. There was also an instance period of time where you also the purposeful decision to default to the current step in the main quest line after you finished any side quest step. So you also had manually switch back every single new step you made. This was a patched mid-review period. Okay. There was no real community aspect. This has also been very fun on the social media to see thousands of players collaborating with each other for secret puzzle solves and the best gear and boss strategies of all of it. There was also a review Discord, but also the fraction of the reviewers were even active in it. Very much not the same. Well, I don't understand why people think there would be any different. Any game that comes out, people are going to be talking about it, giving tips, tricks, how to do stuff. This is not new. I understand why people are like surprised by this. Like, oh my God, so many people are making videos. Yeah, go look at any open world game. Okay. The time crunch, we were given 2 weeks to play the game. That sounds like a lot. But at this point, I think we've seen just how massive the game is. Now, I'm 83 hours in. I've gotten it on what day did I get it on? Friday. Okay. I got it on Friday. And I have 83 hours into the game, and I'm still in the first section. The first section. So if I have 2 weeks as a reviewer, I have to tell you, it would be impossible to tell you everything about this game in the 2 week time. But they probably couldn't give them more than 2 weeks because they were still finishing the game. Okay? This is why some of the reviewers that we watched on day one or before day one, before it even launched, almost every single person said, had a blast with the game, loved the game, having a blast with the game, but I don't recommend it right now. Don't recommend it right now. They're not saying it's broke. They're not saying it's buggy. They're like, there's just hold off. Just hold off. It says this time crunch was all given 2 weeks playtime. So there were also more options. Mess around to ignore many store quests, which also wouldn't even have been close to beating, and have miserable experience trying to smash through the story, which would also have wildly hard difficulty spikes if you did with anything without farming upgrades and skill points. Not great options. This is a bad onboard, okay? Because again, they really have to push people towards the making the camp. I don't know why they have the pre-stuff ahead of time. They should come in right away and they should push you in to, hey, we got you situated. There's a camp for you. The camp doesn't come until, I want to say, midway through chapter 2, chapter 3. And if you're a person that does the main storyline, you'll find it pretty quick. But if you're a person that just wanders around and then starts to do something else, you ain't finding that shit for hours, tens of hours, okay? And you're going to be like, wait a minute, there's a camp? That camp is like a game changer. And I don't know why they didn't push people towards that camp. I know it's an open world game, but they could have been like, hey, here it is, and then move it over. Yeah, midway through chapter 3. So important. So important. Okay. It says, so I don't blame many critics for their thoughts given all of this. Pearl Biz should have caught almost all of this before they gave these copies. Those real excuses for that. There's no excuse for that. Caveats were none of these issues apply to all reviewers, and some focus on things that have nothing to do with any of this. Like the poor story. I give it high scores because for me personally, I could see past all of the bad decisions and see what was all on the other side, but at launch, it was labeled as an outlier. I get how it also looked the way at the time, but now I think most players are seeing what I see. So Paul, he gave a score of 9.5. When you look at IGN, gave it a 6, and I don't think he's given shade to them, but I think he did see the forest through the trees, and this is why I'm playing 83 hours. I've seen it. I'm looking at it going, I don't understand. People are hating on this game, but yet this is what the game is. It's a fantastic open world game. And if you're a person, and every single person that we watched said, if you're looking for story, do not get this game. I'll be honest with you. I think the story is actually pretty good, right? When I put it up there is what, Last of Us and God of... No. But the story is pretty good. And the more you play and the more side stories you do, the more the story fills out. And you're like, wow, that's actually... I'm like fighting battles and wars. I feel like I'm in Game of Thrones, taking over locations. I got trade routes going on. I got my own farm to take care of. It's like there's so many different mechanics and different things in the game that nobody talks about. Nobody talks about. It's insane. All right, let me see what you guys are... Jason says, yeah, but we also show a dislike towards certain games. They also get mad at us and call us the problem. They're also trying to salvage the game with a 7 and scrap the bottom of the barrel for anything good. Water says, I've been doing so much Greymane Camp stuff. I feel like I'm OP because I only just now reached Chapter 7. How many times have you upgraded your camp, Water? I'm about to do it the 4th or 5th time, but I need 100K. I need 100K in our camp funds, and I don't have that money. So I have to send a bunch of guys out and grind some money over there, or donate to get more money. But I'm at like 59, 61,000 or something like that. So I need like another 40K to level up my to the next camp. Water says, don't tell them that, 30. They'll continue to say that the story is bad because they aren't actually reading, just hitting fast forward. Yeah, the story is actually pretty good. The problem I see a lot of people will have a problem with is a lot of the missions. If there wasn't the fast travel, I'll be honest here, there's almost the same problem that there's no really load screens. If you just stand on the point, they've lowered the load times if you're not on a point to point where you can, it has that where he walks a little bit through like the hallway or whatever. But if they just, where was I going with this? If they just focus and you go from point A to point B and they didn't have all those teleporters, you go from your base and you have to do a mission. You have to do the mission. You have to run down to the town. Then if you didn't have the teleport, you would have to run back up, talk to the guy again, turn in the stuff. It'd be like, it's a fetch quest. They're all fetch quests. All games have fetch quests, right? So it's like, go get me 5 of these things. You're like, okay. So it gets 5 of these things. And it says, hey, can you go get these fish for me from your camp? I'm talking about your camp. The camp's like, yeah, you go get Greymanes. The Greymanes come back to your camp. The camp guy now has an established place. And he says, hey, I would like to make some fish. Can you go get me fish? And you're like, okay, cool. And they send you up to a really far spot to get fish. So then you have to leave the town and you go up. And while you're doing this, you're exploring through point A, point B. The mentality of people that want to play the game is, I got to get fish. So they just go get the fish, and then come back and give the fish, right? And they don't do anything. They're like, well, this is stupid. Instead of, hey, I need these fish from the northern part. And you're like, okay, I'll go get you some fish. And you start riding along, and then you see a bandit camp, and you fight the bandit camp. And then all of a sudden you see a tower, and you're like, oh, what's that over there? And you shine your sword, and then you're like, oh, I have to go get that save point over there. So then you go over there to get the save point, and while you get a save point, all of a sudden a boss comes out. And the boss comes out, and you start fighting a boss, and you're like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? Or you fight a bear, or you see a witch, or you see a giant tree. You're not just going from point A to point B back to A, right? You're going from A, get me this thing, and while you're going up there to get that thing, okay, while you're going up there to get the thing, other things happen. But people, reviewers, they're like this. I got the fish. I'm back. Get the next thing, right? They don't explore the world. They don't find the new items. They don't upgrade their abyssals. They don't do anything. They just go from point A, point B, come back, story's bad, this is shit, bad game. It's like, did you play the game? I hate to be like Randy Pitchford, but did you see it? Did you see it? Did you actually play the game? Or did you just do the story missions? You didn't explore anything? You didn't find all the stuff? Eclipse says, yeah, the amount of stuff that you can do in the open world, the story is not that bad. I'm only beginning chapter 4. 1 camp upgrade. Hit me with the camp tips. You want, okay, this is what I'll tell you. You want to work on the camp as much as you can because your camp is where everything happens. Okay. You're going to get vendors and different things in your camp. Okay. So you want to do, go to factions, go to gray main stuff and do those 3 tabs. What's going to happen is you're going to find people. Okay. You're going to go out and find people, the gray mains. You're going to bring the gray mains back to your camp. Once you get to a certain point of gray mains, then you have to expand. You'll expand. You'll run out of room, and then you'll have to expand. Once you expand, then go get the gray mains again, and just keep doing that. You'll unlock. I don't even want to tell you what you'll unlock. You'll unlock so many different characters and so many different points of interest, and you go on so many different missions. It's fantastic, and I really wish that Pearl Abyss would have done something earlier on to push people towards the gray main village, because you think the town is your main hub. It's not. It's your village. It's your gray main village. Aku says the game is fantastic. It blows everything this year out of the water. Well, the year just started, so we'll see what happens. It's a very good game, though. Argus says the main story mixed with all the side missions make a good overall story experience. This is not just a champion of the universe story, but it's not having a negative effect on the game. This game literally feels like I'm just a pawn in the story of Game of Thrones. I'm ending wars. I'm freeing people. I just found a whole other section in the world that I didn't even know it was there, and I was like, wait a minute. Right? You find cool gear all the time, different armor, different pieces. You fight different bosses. I fought my first bear yesterday. Right? People probably fought bears early on. I just found my first bear. Now I know what the update that they just did. They added like 5 legendary mounts or whatever. Don't want to know where they are. Don't care where they are. I'll find them while I play. Because I'm going to go to every nook and cranny to do that. Right? There is missions that you have to go there at a certain time. It doesn't tell you this. But Grand Theft Auto didn't tell you this either, right? Imagine in Grand Theft Auto 5 to find the UFO or the ghost girl on top of the mountain. People just happen to go there and find the ghost on top of the mountain, right? You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay. Nobody told them. It said, hey, go out to this thing. All of a sudden, people looked around. They're like, hey, what is this? And they pick it up and they're like, I don't know what this is. Oh, well, right? Somebody else comes across it and it happens to be there at past midnight, finds the same thing, goes, what's this? And they're like, what the hell is that? There's a ghost. And then social media, they go, I found a ghost. And everyone's like, a ghost? I didn't know about that. They didn't know about Bigfoot. They didn't know about the submarine, right? People explore and find things, and then people post about it, and then people talk about it. Word of mouth. Things are like, oh, this is pretty cool, right? It's exactly the same thing that's happening right now with Crimson Desert. Roadkill says, yeah, it's like the story was too badass, got killed, got brought back by gods, and now I'm going to mess with everything up. That's awesome. Yeah, but you don't even know why you're back. I kind of think it's like a dream. I don't even know yet. Crimson Desert is the only beautiful game to look at, but doesn't expect to engage to fun to play. Aaron, you have no idea what you're talking about. Have no idea what you're talking about. It's one of the most interesting, large-scale, fun to play. Keeps me invested every time I play it without even getting bored. Game is in the last decade. Yeah, it's fantastic. Waterbear says, I could never have put almost 70 hours in a game before finally leaving the first area. Had so much fun doing it. I still have more stuff to do in the first area. I'm 83 hours in. Rogue says a fetch quest is just a catalyst for an adventure that doesn't even have anything to do with getting the fish. Exactly. There's 76 bosses that can also run into any time. I was just in one location. All of a sudden, a guy I fought, and I didn't even know he was a boss. I was like, that's a boss. Some bosses have those meters. Other bosses, there's like not elites, but there's also like hidden bosses. I don't know if it's part of it. I think it is because one of the bosses, I know I've been counting the main bosses I've done, and I have one extra boss that I've killed, but I didn't have a bar up above when I killed him. Let's see. Scrolling. Man, I've been figuring out puzzles just by force pushing everything. All of a sudden, I finish a puzzle. Don't even know how I did it. There was this one puzzle. I'll just put it this way. There's things that you have to pick up and put down, right? Maybe some of you have found this thing. Maybe some of you haven't. And I just looked at it. I stared at it for a second. I was like, okay, I think it's this way. I picked up the first thing, moved it, picked up the second thing, moved it, and all of a sudden I solved the puzzle. I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. But then the puzzle wasn't done. Like, I got the abyssal core, but there was still other stuff I had to find. I started laughing. I was like, how the hell? Like, I moved two things and figured out the puzzle. Kyle says they found a lady on the mountain, and there's a backstory to it in GTA's online browser about what happened to her. Yeah, it's just stuff like that, though. That is what this game is, right? They've taken stuff from Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, and it just tells a story behind it. Now, if you want to dive into that story or whatnot, you can, because there's like side missions. Sometimes you go to certain places, and it's not active yet. And you're like, well, what is this? Well, if you do a side mission, one of the side missions sends you back up there, and then you have to fight a certain guy. Argus says Shroud's been playing this game every day for a week plus. He's a sweaty ass FPS main. It doesn't even happen to a game as bad. It'll tell you that. There's been so many FPS guys playing this nonstop. There are frustrating parts to this game for like stupid little things. What's going on, Sinners? Well, I hope Fable's like this. I don't want to say it's a 1-to-1, but if it has stuff in Fable where you can go out and find things, and it's nice open world, like I'll take a fraction in Fable what this is. I don't want another game like this. This game is like if Grand Theft Auto comes out this year and you have Crimson Desert, two of these wide open world games that have so much to do. Holy Christ. I don't need Fable to do it. I don't need Windrose to do it. Waterbear says, I think we've all passed the point of this is a bad game. Now when someone says it, we're just like, okay. Yeah, I don't even pay attention to them because they don't understand. Which is the same right now, people that like Marathon. They're like, Marathon's a good game. I'm like, great, but you need people to play that game. If you lose the player base in that, it doesn't matter if you like it because you can't play it. You need other people to play it. This game, I don't need anybody to play it. Dustin says, did you get you get to do the side quest to shoot you with darts to make you pass out with the little NPCs? Yeah, you have to do a quest. You have to do a quest to unlock so you can get to their village. They have a patch performance controls and the storage, which were also the main issues the first week. They give them the credit. They had 2 patches. They just had one this past weekend as well. What's going on, Tarnish? What's going on, Winzo? But hey, they didn't Shroud say Marathon had him by the balls? Interesting. Yeah, he's not playing that. He was playing it up until the point the game came out, and then I think has he gone back and forth? Or has he only been on Crimson Desert the entire time? Argus says, but in their defense, they're also going to have unconventional controls to be able to do all the things that the game really allows you to do. Yeah, but that's the problem. People are saying it's bad controls, but it's their controls for their game. People are upset because it's not the standard controls that it should be for all other games. Jason says at PS5, the performance is really good now, and they also fixed all the blurry, washed-out visuals. That's good to hear. I've been playing on balance mode, right, the entire time. You guys can go look at my footage. It's been running great on the Xbox. I've had one crash the entire time, and that was, what was that, Saturday when we were playing? Or Friday? Was it Friday or Saturday we were playing? I hope your Fable has the gnomes you need to find and the riddle trees like the other entries have. I hope so. I love the Fable series. I hope Playground smashes it out of the park. That's me crossing my fingers. Hopefully it's good. Thanks for the sub. I missed who did it, but thank you. YouTube is messed up on this side, so I can't see. Yeah, performance had been fixed. Controls have been fixed from what I've heard. Major PC people saying they literally just had another patch this morning for Steam. Patch notes, graphical quality and use the NVIDIA ray restructuring of DLSS has been partially improved. We'll continue to look into the release issues going forward. So they just did this morning. Just for Steam. People already talked about Resident Evil Requiem. Game came out, did really well. People played it. And guess what? They put it down because it's a short campaign. Sold a shit ton of copies. Yeah, this is what happens with a single-player game. Here. Single-player game, people bought it, right? They've sold over 3 million copies on Steam alone. I think they're past 5 million copies, if I'm not mistaken. 6 million total, right? It's a short campaign. That's what happens. People buy it, beat it, put it down. That's it. It's a single-player game. Very successful game. Yeah, it was all over the place when it came out. I don't talk about it because I don't play Resident Evil. I saw they made loading times for dying and respawning and reloading saves much quicker. Yeah, I've noticed it where there is no load times if you stay on the platforms and go from platform to platform. But if you're teleporting off the platform to a platform, you have that load screen, and the load screen does seem like it's shorter now. All right, let's see what's going on. Not a lot of news. We actually have, let me go back to Discord real fast. There was also another thing. What do you got? Gaming industry needs changing the AC. Jones posted something, comicbook.com. We have the announcement of Xbox Showcase, Summer Showcase, June 7th, supposedly. That's when it's coming out. Here, because Argus brought up the Sony PlayStation price. I saw this article last week before the weekend. It popped up, right? I think that was before the weekend. Yeah, because it was on Friday. Sony raises PlayStation 5 prices in key regions, and Xbox instantly became a cheaper console, creating one of the funniest value swings in years. This, I said they were going to raise the price. I'm not shocked by this, right? I'm not shocked by this in any way, shape, or form, because I know that the industry works together, and this is what they're going towards. Okay, so if you guys like what I do, we just read the article, give you my thoughts and opinions first on the stream, and then we get your thoughts and opinions as well. So Sony raised the PlayStation 5 price in key regions of Xbox, instantly became the cheaper console, creating one of the funniest value swings in years. With a PlayStation 5 price rising in the UK, US, Europe, Japan, Xbox hardware is now matching or undercutting Sony across several regions, right? All Sony had to do was nothing. Xbox shot themselves in the foot and then 6 months later shot themselves in the other foot by raising the prices and whatnot. Xbox rightfully have been lambasted online for poor decisions, inexcusable prices with the last September price increase, pushing things to frankly gross levels. Okay, many argue that were unavoidable due to broader market conditions. Xbox has mocked at the time. Many presume a similar price hike was coming for Sony, and while it held off a while, it is now finally caved, citing continued pressure in the global economic landscape. So that with that said, let's break down the price difference between Sony and Microsoft and see which one might be a better value. Spoiler alert, it's not Sony. It's not any of them. I wouldn't buy any of these consoles right now. You're out of your fucking mind. 5 years, going 6 years into this console cycle, and you're paying $200 more for a console, right? I wouldn't buy any of them, right? People finally that bought the thing in when it came in actually got a better price than the people, because everyone always gets a better deal if you wait. Not this time. They're trying something different. So how's Sony's prices hike compared to Xbox? Okay, it says now I'm poking the bear a bit here because, of course, whenever the platform you prefer will suit you best. That said, you're quite a lot to break down when it comes to price differences across the regions. As far as I'm aware, Sony is increasing the prices across 4 regions, including the US, UK, Europe, and Japan. These changes affect PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, PlayStation 5 Pro, and PlayStation Portal. So I had to put together a handy table compare retail prices. So here it is. All right, so in the US, PlayStation 5 now is $649. Okay, $649 for the digital. Xbox Series X, which still has a drive, okay, is $599. So it's $50 cheaper. PS5, I'm sorry, that's the PlayStation 5. So with the disc drive, $649. Digital edition with no drive is now $600. Okay, PlayStation 5 Pro is $900. And now the Xbox Series X 512 is $379. There is another Xbox, though, isn't there? Isn't there one that's like $699 as well that they didn't put here? Am I wrong there? I could have sworn there was another edition, like a 2 terabyte one, that they haven't put on this list. Did they miss it? Or they just didn't want to put it on here? UK, $569. $519 for the PlayStation Digital. $789. Okay. $499 for the Xbox Series X. And the Series S is $512 is $299. Europe, $649.99. $599.99. $899.99. $599.99. I could have sworn that this is another price in here that they're missing. I could be wrong. I'm gonna look it up in a second. And then Japan's $97.98, $90.80, $89.980, $137,980. 66 and 44,578. There are? Okay. As you see, across several regions, Xbox hardware does come in cheaper, or at very least matches Sony on price. It's a bit of a shame that these days the console's getting cheaper as the generation goes on, seems to be behind US. In perfect world, you expect something like a Series S at $199 and a Series X at $349.99, especially with the newer revisions that cut costs, similar to what was saw on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 era, or the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox and all the other consoles ahead. Instead, here we are. Newer revisions never happened. Hardware didn't get cheaper. And instead, we're watching prices go up across the industry. I suppose the best we can do now is waste a bit of water and ask for Forever AI chatbot to comfort us with these trying times. It's also worth mentioning that these does make Xbox the cheapest place to play Grand Theft Auto 6, whether that's a Series X or Series S. And this is something that Xbox could definitely capitalize on. Well, I still think people shouldn't buy the consoles. Just wait. Because maybe, just maybe, the prices will go back down. But as of right now, I would not purchase any console. If you were on the cusp before and you didn't buy ahead of time before the price increase, I would hold off. I would save your money, okay, and maybe look elsewhere. Maybe look at the Steam machine when it comes out. We don't know what the price is for that, but if it is the same price as what we're looking at here for the PlayStation 5 Pro or the higher end Xbox or whatever, then I would 100% think about it and try to go for the Steam machine, because you'll have more games and stuff over there. Because if you buy Steam, you can play Xbox games and Steam games, right? If you buy PlayStation, you're only playing PlayStation games. You have the third-party games. You have Xbox there too, because Xbox is throwing their stuff over there. But you're not getting a lot of the PC games that are over in the market as well. Where if you get the Steam machine, you can get PC games, you can get console games. The only one you're missing out there, really. And again, I'm not bringing up Nintendo because a lot of adults don't really play Nintendo. A lot of adults, don't get me wrong, there are Nintendo adults, but a lot of guys that are playing the first-person shooters and stuff like that are all on Sony or Xbox or PC. He says, did you already bite the bullet and pick up a PlayStation 5 while it was also more affordable, or did you hold out and find out the price increase is a step too far? He says, for me, the PlayStation 5 is the first PlayStation generation I've actively missed out on. Same. There's also have been enough games that appeal to me on personally, so the price hike doesn't affect me too much, but it's still a shame that we see the industry in this current state. So what do you guys think about it? All right? We got these absurd prices. I'm going to go on to the Xbox site for a second because I think there's another version that they're not bringing up there, which is kind of weird if they're not. Let me go. Let me see. I would like to purchase store, shop consoles. Yeah. Okay. So let's calm down with the article a little bit, right? This is why I say don't buy, right? So the Xbox Series X 2 terabyte Galaxy Black Special Edition is $800. Okay, the Xbox Series X 1 terabyte digital is $600. Again, where was that article? Right? They're missing the other ones that you could buy. I don't know why they would not show them. Right? Then you have the Xbox Series S 1 terabyte is $449. Again, they don't have that here. They have the $379 version. Sure, they're showing you the cheaper versions of it, right? But there's also other versions here that they didn't put in there. So they're both up there, right? This is an $800 console. This is a $900 console, which is absolutely crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. They've literally priced themselves so close to a PC that there's no reason for you to buy a console. If you're a person that doesn't have a console right now, you do not own a console in any way, shape, or form, do not buy a console. Save up an extra $100, $200, and buy yourself a mid-tier PC for $1,000, $1,100. Just go up a little bit more. You'll get way more out of it. You'll save money because you don't have to get Xbox Game Pass to play for online. You don't have to get PlayStation to play games online. You can just play games online with your normal internet, right? That alone also, in 1 year will save you money, okay? Which is the money that you put towards the actual the PC, right? Do not get a console if you're looking to buy a console right now, right? There's no point. You're getting way better value on a mid-tier console, on a PC, where you can play all the Steam games, you can play all the other games, you get emulators, you can play Xbox games, you can play Steam games, you can play PlayStation games because they're on Steam. But if you're looking for a first-party title and you're only playing PlayStation games or you're only getting Xbox games, well, let me tell you, 100% not worth $899 for a Pro or $600 for a digital. Because you're going to have to pay the fee to play online games for both these consoles, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So just wait. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Aaron says Grand Theft Auto 6 will be a PlayStation exclusive. That would be the dumbest move for Rockstar. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because the games cost almost $3 billion to make. They need to sell it on as more platforms as possible. Mr. Z says, at this point, look to refurbish or even use something new. It'll be here before you know it. Yeah. 75%. Krebsy says 75% chance Xbox, 55% chance Nintendo, 20% PlayStation raises prices this year. I don't know. I don't know if Xbox raises prices this year. They could. I think they raise something, or they add a new tier to get more money out of people, which is that new tier they're talking about, which is this first party title games. I don't know if they raise their consoles again. That'd be insane. Because where are they going? Where are they going with that price? Charles says no console is worth $900 if the PC exists. If PC gaming did not exist, then maybe you could have a compelling argument. Right. There's no reason to pay that much. Just save up a little bit more, which you would pay over the year for the online services, and just put that towards the computer. Good gaming PCs are priced at $4,000, $5,000. Where the fuck are you looking? Where are you looking? Tara says you could build a nice PC for around $1,000. Yeah, where the fuck are you looking? It's been already confirmed. Where's that article? Show me that article. If it's been confirmed, it means it's official. PlayStation come out and say it? Where's that article? Let me know. I'll tell you what. If it's official, all right, show me the article. If it's not official, I'm gonna time you out of the chat, because I hate liars. If it's official, it's got to be from PlayStation. PlayStation said that 6-month exclusive. You let me know. Krebsy says if they said that, I already know. And if you know, I know. And I know, and you know, they didn't say that. People that don't see the value in PC, unfortunately, do all the businesses and their content on the phone, the game, the console. So dumb. Rokio says, yeah, they never came out and said GTA 6 will be exclusive. That wouldn't be all for headlines, nonstop. Stupid Aaron for coming out and stop pulling your foot in your mouth. I mean, I'm ready to see it. I do a daily show talking about news stories every single day. Rumors all day long, right? Rumors. If you want to say someone wrote an article about a rumor of that happening, by all means, right? That's a rumor. But actual came out and said 6-month exclusive. Hero says PC is a pain in the ass. Something goes wrong to fix it though. What happens? Okay, well, I have a question for you, Hero. Xbox 360 had the red ring of death. What did you do for that? It was a major problem. What did you have to do for that? Right? You couldn't fix it. You sent it. Did you send it to Discord? Where'd you send it? Through here? You can't put links in the chat. I don't think they actually use a computer since my 8th grade computer class with Miss Macintosh. I got kicked out. That bitch within the first 3 days, never went back. Krebsy says Rockstar wouldn't lock down GTA 6 to any single platform with all of these rising prices. Roic says the PlayStation may have some exclusive features or whatnot, but I'm 100% sure it's coming out day on PC or PS and Xbox with PC to follow at a later date. Yeah, Krebsy will look it up for me. Krebsy's very good at all this stuff. Like, let's get this real here. What are you doing if your PlayStation stops working tomorrow? Where would you even start to attempt to fix that? Exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? When the Red Ring of Death happened with Xbox, or something happens with your console, right? People look at it, and this is why people get Mac computers, by the way, because I used to work for Apple, and they're like, oh, well, we don't get bugs, right? The reason that Apple never got bugs, right, or got hacked is because they were a smaller portion of the business. More people had just regular PCs with Windows running on it. So everyone's like, oh yeah, they don't get viruses. Apple doesn't get viruses. They get viruses. They just get less viruses. That was a selling point that Apple used to say, because they were like, oh yeah, Apples don't get viruses. They sure do. Right? So it's the simplicity of this is working because, oh, it's a console. Why are you guys taking me for a damn liar? Because no one has officially said it. Oh, so was it a speculation? It's all speculation? We've talked about PlayStation getting the marketing rights for Grand Theft Auto, which just means they get to advertise it and put it up there. So you're saying it was a speculation. It was a rumor, right? Not official? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah, just tell the source. What's the article from? You don't have to give me a link. What's the article from? Who wrote it? What source? I didn't make this claim. You did. Ray says PlayStation lost Sega in 2020, lost Atlas in 2022, lost Square Enix in 2024, lost Koei in 2026. How the hell are they gaining? Eclipse says, but I think what 30's saying is, if you're spending $1,000 on a PC and a console, why not get a PC where you can actually fix it if it breaks? You can also make it with a console. You have to get a new one. That's exactly right, Eclipse. If you get a PC, you can bring it to someone to fix it, or you can fix it yourself. It's not that hard. Polygon wrote it. Look it up. Is it a speculation? That's my question. Is it a speculation or is it fact? Did Sony say that we have 6-month exclusive for Grand Theft Auto? Regardless if it happens or not, is it official? That is my point, Aaron. That is my point. You came out and said that it's official. 6-month exclusive. I didn't say that. You said that. is GTA basically PS5 exclusive at this point? We actually read this article on stream. Right? It's launching for both Xbox and PlayStation, but Rockstar's next big game might still feel like it belongs specific platform. First of all, you're reading just the headlines, and you stopped at this point. You didn't even read the article, did you? You didn't even read the article, did you? No, I did not. Boy. We'll see. We'll see in 24 hours. We literally talk about news stories every single day. Every single day. I have stories submitted to me from people that are in this channel, from outside this channel, that people that don't have time to come and watch me. They still send it to me on Twitter. They'll put it in our Discord, right? Holy shit. Coming in the chat and just yep. You don't even know. You could go to any other place and talk shit. We don't deal with shit here. If we make a mistake, we make a mistake, but don't come in here claiming that it's official. PlayStation has not come out and said anything. And you might be 100% correct. Down the road, PlayStation comes out and says, we got the 6-month exclusive, but it still makes you wrong right now because it's not official. Sarge says, why read when I can just shit talk and troll? Krebsy says, never go full. Never go full. Even if a resident Sony pony knew it wasn't happening. when Travis is on our side over here, you know you're doing something wrong. I'm messing with Travis. PlayStation doesn't need any of them. PlayStation is the king. Yeah, PlayStation. Do you know how much money? We've talked about this in the past. We've talked about speculation of Netflix wanted to buy and to get in the game and be like, we have Grand Theft Auto 6 exclusivity for 6 months. We've talked about it putting on Game Pass. We've talked about it putting on just PlayStation. And that these are all speculations. These are all things that we can have a fun conversation about because it would cost a shit ton of money for anybody to pay Rockstar to get it exclusive for their stuff. Turner says, I skimmed over the bit. Schreier just rambles on about PlayStation being the lead platform and the lack of the day one PC port, nothing more, nothing less. We literally talked about that article in January. And I don't expect everyone to be here to know every article that we're going over, but I also don't expect people to just claim something and not show proof. Sorry, this isn't Twitter. You're going to make a claim, you're going to show it. You're going to tell me where you got the claim from, and we're going to put it on the screen. So everybody, you passing notes in class? Bring it up here. Read it in front of everybody. It's very true. It's very true.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
You want to have fun conversations and say, hey, what if PlayStation got the 6-month exclusive? You want to have that conversation? We can have that conversation. But saying that it's confirmed. Boy. All right. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, and the 5,000, 4,000, 5,000 price point. What are we talking about? Throws random PC price, claims PC5 Pro is better, for example, of the build. No performance metric, no benchmarks, but you want people to believe you. Yeah, I don't know. I got you an awesome video to send you. All right, let me see what you got. I will say if it's awesome or not. Star Wars Zero Company, new details. All right, that's awesome. Well, let's watch that. I'm interested in it. All right, hold on. Let me add him. Let me add him to the so people can find his channel. What do we got? Mo. Okay. All right, we're gonna watch Star Wars Zero Company, Permadeath, Companions, Combat, and more. Mortimismal. Butchered it. Sorry, Mortimismal Gaming. Destroyed your name. It's like a badge of honor.
What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you some new information about Star Wars Zero Company, an upcoming TRPG set, of course, in the Star Wars universe. But just a couple things to note straight away. One, all of this information is coming from an exclusive over at PC Gamer. I'll have that link down below if you'd like to read some of it for yourself. They recently visited the dev studio BitReactor, and that's where, they got all this information, and that's how I'm relaying it to you. And amplifying it is something I wanted to do because this game is supposed to be releasing in 2026, and yet we haven't heard too much about it. In fact, I would say this thing we're about to go over here is essentially most of the information we've received on it since it was initially announced. Personally, I would say this seems like a holiday release to me, just judging by the timing and the IP and everything. But obviously,
it would make more sense. I mean, obviously, it's not coming out during the same time as the Mando movie, because maybe it comes out during the other Star Wars film with Ryan Gosling in it. I would always try to promote Star Wars games around the same time as Star Wars films or TV shows. So I don't know when that other one comes out with Ryan Gosling, but that's probably coming out, I would assume. Is it later this year?
We will see what happens. Now, if the idea of a Star Wars tactical game doesn't actually do anything for you, you may be interested to know that it is being worked on by several of the same people who worked on XCOM, specifically the reboots in 2012, I believe. So they have a significant amount of experience doing the type of tactics games people tend to love. And while these games always have a sort of built-in audience that buys, all of them.
It's a lot of pressure for a Star Wars game. Didn't these guys, the last game they make was Midnight Sun?
The good ones, basically. There are some interesting things here that I think may well draw in a new crowd, so to speak, not only because of the IP itself, but also because of some of the stuff they are doing as described in this, interview, you could call it. Starting with that the main thing they wanted to get across was the production value of this game. And while that's obviously going to include a lot of different things in presentation, one of the main things straight away is actually that outside of combat and missions, you have a full third-person control over your character. Your main character, Hawks, is actually a customizable protagonist who has to be named Hawks, which, yes, I did find a little bit funny considering you've got Hawk from Dragon Age.
So your main character can't die, but there's permadeath for everybody else.
Too, but either way, that character is heading up an intelligence group. That is to say, Zero Company, as they are fighting a sort of shadow war in the twilight of the Clone Wars.
So BitReactor, Respawn Entertainment.
So obviously we'll see more about that and what that entails, I guess, here soon. But either way, while you will be able to control your character third person outside of combat, the game itself is still mission-based, so you'll go on these missions and have the opportunity to explore in that mode before switching over to the tactical turn-based battles in the mission.
Sons of Midnight, or Midnight Suns, was actually... I actually really liked it. I thought I was going to dislike the card system, but actually the card system is actually really good. Now, I don't think there's a card system here, but Midnight Sun was actually a really good game.
themselves.
I still have to go back
now,
and
the
finish
combat has been described as very XCOM-like, as you would expect, though, to be fair. I would say at this point, many modern tactics games trace a lot of their DNA back to the 2012 XCOM, and considering that this has some of those devs on here, that's not really much of a surprise at all. Still, a couple of other random details. It looks like your squad is going to basically be a squad of 4, and that squad is going to consist of a few set story characters, or companions, I guess you could call them, which will have their own story arcs and everything, including the possibility of leaving you depending on the decisions you make, but that's being described as more of like a scripted thing as opposed to something more, say, reputation-based. Either way, it looks like in combat, all of these characters will be utilizing a 3 action point system, which I actually did think that was a little interesting because that type of system seems to be gaining more popularity these days. I've seen a lot of games and even a TTRPG like Pathfinder 2e messing around with the 3 action economy. But it looks like outside of those, you'll also be, as you...
Just reminded me, what did IGN give Star Wars Outlaws? What did IGN give Star Wars Outlaws?
Participate in combat, basically earning what they are calling advantage points, and those advantage points fuel your stronger abilities and the like. Each class has their own thing going on, including their own ultimate ability, and those classes include things like Assault, Heavy, Sharpshooter, Scoundrel, Soldier, Gunslinger, Scout, and Medic. Now those are the base classes, and there are a couple of what I guess they refer to them as exotic classes. And these are in relation to your companions mostly, like there is a mech class that is, reserved for droids, but there are also a couple that are specific to your companions, like a Jedi Padawan or a
So Outlaws got better than Crimson Desert?
Mandalorian warrior, alongside one more that they are keeping secret for now. They also went on to describe a little bit of the structure of both the battles and the missions themselves, with the side missions being relatively standard tactic stuff, that is to say one area more or less with a pretty straightforward objective, be that like elimination or stealing something, etc., etc.
You can just scroll down, Dustin. There's a link in the description. I know it takes a little bit more effort, but you can just click it and then scroll, and then should be a Discord link down there.
They did describe the story missions as being a bit more involved, however, with these tending to be multi-battle affairs with exploration peppered in between, presumably where you can, actually explore and make use of said exploration. But they also described a very particular mechanic, at least in the combat missions they played, and that being around the force.
I kind of feel like the Zero Company should have been around the Bad Batch, right? Like if this game was just around the Bad Batch, again, I don't know much about this game yet, but the Bad Batch would have been, obviously, you can't do permadeath, but it would have been interesting if they did the Bad Batch type of thing.
Empowered troops that you could potentially fight. In particular, it mentioned that when you kill these enemies, some of their spirit then goes into other enemies in the area and empowers them. And apparently if you do that enough time with this particular enemy type, it will turn the final one into a boss via a berserk mechanic. Now they did also describe some other elements of the game, namely around the base building. They did describe it as a pretty standard tactics game base setup. However, still a couple of important things to mention. As I already mentioned, there are going to be story characters and companions that you can take on missions with you that are more set in stone. You will.
So there'll be missions that you can go on. The way he's saying it, you have companions and you have main characters that you can go on missions that can't die, but then you have other guys that are just cannon fodder, like red shirts from like Star Trek or clone troopers from like Star Wars, where they all just die.
However, via your base, also be able to recruit recruits who are, more randomly generated and not scripted out characters. Now, what I thought was especially interesting about that, though, is they did want to kind of highlight that permadeath is a thing here. In fact, the only character that cannot die permadeath style is your main character.
So wait, the side companions can also die? Interesting. How does that work? How does that work, though? If you bring a main character, not your main character, but a side character, and they die on the mission, does that whole branch of like stuff that you have to do for them just completely gone?
When your allies get downed in combat, they take on injuries. These injuries can then, over time, if you don't deal with them, stack up and lead to a permanent death. This includes the story-based characters as well. So that's an element of this game
That's interesting.
people will have to watch out for, and I imagine...
Yeah, but hire someone new. We're taking a speculation here, Z, that if you're my side character that I bring in, right? So Mr. Z is in the game with me. I take a quest from you, or we're doing a mission for you, and we do 2 missions, right? And I'm progressing the character, and then Mr. Z dies in the 3rd mission. I never know about that mission again. All of a sudden, I bring in Eclipse. Eclipse is the next main character that just takes your spot in the same storyline. That'd be a little weird, wouldn't it?
Imagine exactly how impactful that is will come down to things like the difficulty settings and how much they want it to play a role in the story. Given how they've described some of these companions as characters who have irreconcilable differences, in that some of them have the potential to leave you via scripted moments, I do wonder if the permadeath plays like a bigger role in some of those potential story outcomes, or
right.
Basically how the game reins that in.
Yeah, that's my question. How would, if it's permadeath with those characters, how does that, how do you splice that in? Because that means the game would be so, it would be so grindy. Because let's say your achievement list is complete all of Mr. Z's story missions, but he dies and you don't do it. That means you have to start over, do it again. I guess you could save scum and stuff like that. But that'd be interesting to see how they do the story-wise.
At all. But you'll obviously want them to survive because you are ultimately running an intelligent outfit working against some unknown threat in the background. And they did also describe that the galaxy map in your base will, yes, allow you to go on missions, but another thing it will allow you to do is, in fact, live out some of that intel officer fantasy by allowing you to, of course, run intelligence operations and learn things about the missions you are potentially trying to take on, which I think makes sense in this context. But
I never save scum in games, Travis. I know that's hard to believe. I never save scum. I never regret my choices in games. Like, if I do something, like in Mass Effect and stuff, when my guys died, they died. I didn't go, oh, I didn't like that choice. I did what it was. And then when I played it again, I made different choices. Like, I'm not a person personally, and again, I'm only talking about myself, where I'm like, oh, no, I didn't like that outcome. I'm going to save and then do it. No, I don't like that. No, I do the thing and repercussions afterwards.
That is just about everything that was brought to us via this particular update, so certainly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, by all means, like, comment, subscribe.
I gotta see a lot more of this.
This is definitely a game I will be covering in the future whenever we, get more information or it releases, whatever else. But that's what we know as of now. So be sure to let me know how you feel about it down in the comments section below, which naturally means to like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching.
There you go. Link in the description down below. Yeah, that's interesting, though. I would have to see how that plays out. Again, for story purposes, if I have a character with me and then they all of a sudden they die, do you just shit out of luck? Do they just replace them like it doesn't matter anyway? That means the story wouldn't be very good, would it? Ray says it will be a commercial failure if they do that. XCOM fans won't like it. Oh, you're talking about the combat. I gotcha. PC Gamer interview with the devs. They talk a lot more about it. I think, is that the one that's in Discord? Hold on. We got a, I think I posted it. All right. Well, let's go down this then. Right? Star Wars Zero Company is more than just Star Wars XCOM. It feels like a Mass Effect, but with turn-based tactics and permadeath. Okay, weeks after the list of Bit Reactor, it can also just distantly remember every mission from my 4.5-hour hands-on time. It nails the XCOM specialty and combat that leaves you wishing with story. Leaves you with stories. Like when you use the Jedi Padawan Tell Ray to force pull a guy into exploring Barrow, blowing him up and a bunch of his friends. My greatest tactical co-op, laying down a ton of suppressing fire on enemy spawn just to Droideka, and the guys that's also bubble shields entered into the picture. They needed to turn to set up. My team chucked most of their health bars before they could also manage transforming what was supposed to be the hardest encounter on the day into a cakewalk. That is what's expecting the fans on demanding a Zero Company. What surprised me is everything else. Insane production value for one of everything that looks while also collaboration with Lucasfilm results in authentic Star Wars aesthetics. Okay. And Zero Company offers a perspective to help appreciate it. Outside of combat, you have a full third-person action-adventure control of your customizable point-of-view character, Hawks, before Fossil Fighting starts. You also forgiven for thinking of his actions spin-off of Respawn's Jedi Fallen Order. In addition to being a great tactics game, there's also a lot of chew here for fans for RPGs, or even just for someone looking for a top-line, well-told Star Wars story. So Bit Reactor founder Greg was the art director. He's also rebooted XCOM series as well as Marvel's Midnight Suns. And he also brought a lot of XCOM talent with him from Zero Company lead producer. It says, I left Fairfax after about 22 years of working, and there's also making strategy games my whole career. He says, I knew I wanted to stay in strategy and tactics space and also worked a dramatic turn after a faithful phone call. He says, I'm sitting in my office and sighting onto the computer, and my wife's asleep and my kids are asleep, and also the phone rings and a number that I don't recognize. For some reason, I answered it, and the voice on the other end said, hey, Greg, this is Vince Zampella. I heard you have a game that you want to make. Can you tell me about it? So there you go. Thus began the dialogue between him and Zampella, the highly regarded creator of Call of Duty and founder of Respawn, tragically died in a car wreck. He eventually said, do you think that you can make a Star Wars game with us? He said, for sure, a different game, but yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, I'm thinking of its insane right. Like, this is crazy. It's Star Wars, and that's just so said. Okay, so the pitch landed in Zampella. Yeah, but do they talk about the gameplay is also about the depth doesn't cost you elegance. You can also absolutely have graphics and storytelling. You can also, not to mention that the genre in particular, you could also have those things. He pointed out theoretically. You could turn off all the Zero Company's cinematic cameras, work a little action entirely from a bird's eye view, and it would technically have the same gameplay, but it wouldn't feel anywhere near as good. This is the big part of the designer. Game is Brawly, formerly dead PC-centric genres have also coming back. The present of themselves better. The more approachable games that also largely failed to make the jump from PC to console 25 to 30 years ago, like turn-based tactics, CRPGs, now look to feel great whenever they play on the desktop, home console, or handheld. The devs spoke and characterized Zero Company combination of third-person exploration and tactical combat as a main priorities in development, and they came through during the hands-on both styles of gameplay. Tactical battles, explorations were executed in the highest level of quality, something animation led Hector characterized as a tightrope balancing act. This is animation. Drop Zone. I've also played XCOM previously. Zero Company feels like it's slipping on a favorite pair of jeans. The camera including cinematic kill shots, cover, accuracy, traversal, and clearly iterated on devs' prior work at FairX. Typically in the control squad of 4, 3 action points per character per turn. The movement requires AP spending depending on the distance, and the certain abilities demanding more than 1 point. Your entire squad has a shared pool of advantages, points earned by attacking enemies, and they also can be spent and special abilities independent of AP. Each class is ultimate and demands a big advantage spent. A triple shot for vanilla assault class, a rocket launcher blast for the heavy, but there's also a smaller abilities that also draw to the same pool. Hawks, for example, can spend a little bit of advantage refresh of AP for a squad mate once per turn. Interesting. He says, I got to play some early story levels as well as a few side missions, and side stuff felt very classic. Single zones with objectives like enemy, eliminations, hostage rescues, holding a capture point. All the side missions were also hand designed by only procedurally elements designed specific enemies that spawn depending on where at in the main story. He says, my greatest challenge on the day was a side mission. Overextended myself to rescue a hostage without eliminating enough enemies first, triggering reinforcements to spawn in while the team was also scattered all over the map. I managed to evaluate. There's also 2 squad mates downed in the pickup area. A victory can also mostly attribute to the support/crowd control focused droid I brought with me, Acromet droid. Okay, story missions were significantly more complex, boasting multiple spread combat encounters connected with segments of third-person exploration. I spent most of my time fighting battle droids and Star Wars cantina-loving criminal elements, but my final story mission was the day introduced the Force-empowered shock troopers on the main bad guys. They have a nasty trick there. To kill one, Sprint floats off the buff a friend. The ghost power bonus stacks with each kill until the recipient goes berserk, basically transforming into a boss. Smart play. They did this in Midnight Suns. And managing these enemies' health bars can make sure that only weakened positioning to go berserk. Not knowing that these ahead of time, stumbled across a slugfest with the hulked out cultist tanking my entire crew. Mad respect to the guy. Let's see. Mother Base. Back at home base, the Den is a classic video game clubhouse. Activates are also offered. Talk to your buds, buy new stuff, level up, make upgrades. And in addition to fleshed out stories, characters, you can also recruit, customize, hire mercenaries, allowing a full squad of construction and more emergent storytelling. XCOM at the player's preference. Hawks has also authorized squad mates to choose randos can be respected into any 8 standard classes: assault, heavy, sharpshooter, scoundrel, soldier, gunslinger, scout, or medic. Well, there's also 4 other restrictive exotic classes. The Astromech class, unsurprisingly exclusive to the titular droids. You can also visually customize any extensive droid builder menu. That's cool. While Jedi Padawan and Mandalorian Warrior are limited to the respective story characters, that leaves one more special class bit reactor we'll reveal later at a later date. Zero Company Instra missions gameplay, unpinned by the galaxy map, and they also choose between various operations in addition to combat missions. Varies cycle of time to open up a new mission and operations, each one with a timer counting down cycles until unavailable. You can also perform as many operations as you have resources per cycle, but you can also fit in one full combat mission that shows that you end of a given cycle to move forward. The ops are intelligent gathering, otherwise non-combat activities that would have also fit in the Zero Company's main gameplay. Would remind me a lot of text-based adventure sequences from Pillars of Eternity, Owlcat's Pathfinder RPG. You'll face with problems with the intelligent gathering at the cantina, options to bribe or start to brawl or get what you want, each of their own trade-offs in terms of reward of squad approval. The brawl options, for example, might result in path of permadeath, injured, or select to take on. Okay. We also wanted to capture a feeling of running intelligent unit, explain designer operations. Major systems Zero Company involves perma enemy upgrades tied to operations. You also have to choose which 2 perma power-ups you want enemy type of occultist commando droids. You also have less embarked mutually exclusive op to make sure that you don't get it. If you ignore the operations completely, well, that'll get us both upgrades. If it sounds like some operations will also form in their ongoing side stories, help this guy, and then 10 cycles from now, he comes back with some information. Okay, that makes sense. The useful for them offered, for example, versus one-shot him. He also comes back, and now he's also got a thing on the map that is also not great for me. The ones that I saw always had a bit of Star Wars or storytelling flair. Zero Company covertly helped Beast Hunters, major locations from Clone Wars show, Tales of the Jedi comics, and Obsidian's cult classic Knights of the Old Republic 2. Clones and Clankers, Zero Company story head. Okay, we got Clones and Clankers. What else we got? Consequences. Permadeath is a signature staple of XCOM games. Take on a lot more weight in the Zero Company. Everyone aside from Hawks can die on the mission, and the story will keep going without them. Thankfully, for Curious, the second somebody goes down, the sustained injury is persistent between missions and until the pay of treatment, culminating in permadeath. There's also a risk-reward element to reviving someone in mid-mission to help out. They could also easily sustain more injuries or take off the injury and reserve is listed too early. If you push things and Trick eats one-to-many blaster bolts, poor guys headed to big Camino Archaeological in the sky, leaves Zero Company base and approval rating drop too low. Confirm that there are also story moments where your choices could drive someone away in specific authorized thing. So there you go. So it can screw up the story in some way. We characterize permadeath as something that was hesitate to take on at first. It was challenging that was also embraced midway through production. About 13 months ago, I lost an argument about permadeath, and it was also good that I did. It was the right decision for the game and the challenge of implementing it. It just became a matter of rolling up our sleeves and getting into it. In addition to permadeath being the hallmark, it feels thematically crucial for Zero Company Star Wars about loss. I like the loss stuff like that. That's why I like the XCOM games back in the past. 4 years old, watching Obi-Wan Kenobi die right is about loss. It's also about developer wanting people to not save scum. There you go. Wanting people not to save scum, but to push through the loss to what other side of the experience to feel it. That's how I play games all the time. Zero Company doesn't yet have a release date, but it's also slated to come out this year. So there you go. Yeah, it's just a little bit. It's a little bit weird on how that would work as far as the story elements, though. But I guess it doesn't really matter. They just replace it. I never played Fire Emblem. Never played that. Roadkill says, Aaron's in another chat complaining that I timed them out in MBG's chat. Oh, well, good. He's advertising for me. That's good. Yeah, maybe we'll get some people over there. They'll see it and go, oh, this guy. All right, well, that's the reason. We can see the reason why. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't know who MBG is, Jason, but if he's over there. Ray says, I'm sorry about spamming. I'm passionate about XCOM. I didn't think you were spamming. I think you're just having a conversation. MBG? You don't know who MBG is? Come on. I don't. I have no idea. I'm going to assume that he's a PlayStation guy. I'm going to assume. And the only reason I say that is because Aaron is a Sony pony. So I'm assuming he's in a Sony pony's channel complaining. Who's DCG? I know Reforge. Who's DCG? Oh, Dreamcast guy. Yeah, Dreamcast guy. I was like, who's DCG? I know who Dreamcast guy is, but I don't really watch him either. MBG is most biased gaming. Is that what it stands for? Okay. Oh, for God's sakes, Roadkill. Just this whole fucking statement. He says, yes, sir. He's a PlayStation guy. I think a long time ago, and he was an Xbox guy, but switched and came over to the winning side. Fucking. I'll take your word for it, Roadkill. I don't watch a lot of people like that, so. He's not a troll. He's pushing hate. He's all about facts, I would say. Who? Wait a minute. MBG is all about facts? Well, Aaron's not going to be good over there then. Aaron's not going to be good over there. Yeah, he's definitely not going to be good at that person's chat if he's all about facts. If you went to a guy that's all about facts, oh my God. Yeah, I don't know who it is. So he probably says he's all about facts. I mean, all I know is Aaron's not about facts. He's the complete opposite. So that should work out really well over there. Brainchild says, I bet I'll let all of one of my squad mates die in Zero Company. You'll let all of them die? Why would you do that? Let's go on, Brainchild. Oh, PF5 says, MBG is all about reporting rumors as facts. Oh, Well, that makes much more sense now. That makes much more sense. So they take speculation and call it as facts. Got it. Jason says, Aaron's like Dustin, but without the charm. Got it. Oh, the rule of two. I got you. Okay. I got you. That's funny, though. Mall Shadows Lord official episode release schedule. Full video on YouTube. April 6th, April 13th, April 20th. Oh, they're doing week by week. Huh. Imagine that. I'm going to read this out loud. Aaron is so bad, he makes me want to apologize to Aku. I mean, that's a big step right there. Roadkill says, are you playing more Crimson Desert today? Because I'm about to leave work right now to go play. Of course. What do you think? I'm going to stop playing? I'm 83 and a half hours deep into this thing. Not only am I playing tonight on stream, I'm playing as soon as I'm done streaming. I got to go to the store to pick up some groceries. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to come home. I'm going to sit down for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I'm going to play before I pick up my kid. Travis says, Crimson Desert, that sounds like a 6 out of 10 game. It's exactly what it is. You know what Crimson Desert is? This is what Crimson Desert is, right? I'm gonna make a comparison here. Crimson Desert is that like secret spot you found as a kid that you don't want anyone to know about? You know what I'm talking about? That you're just having a blast or whatever, right? It's that bar, it's that sports place, it's that hidden entrance that you found. It's that place that just makes you feel good. And you're like, it's not that busy, and I'm just really enjoying myself. And then it gets crowded, and you're like, oh, well, there goes the magic. Crimson Desert feels like gaming when I was a kid again. Right? Before everybody else got here and was like, I play video games. I love video games my whole life. That's what video games feels like. That's what Crimson Desert feels like. It feels like when I was a kid playing video games and nobody gave a fuck and just left me alone. Crimson Desert has me picking up every little thing in the world. My ADHD is off the wall. It's a good thing. Nah, but it's okay. Everyone can play it. What I'm saying, because it's not a multiplayer game or whatever. It's a single player game. But what I'm saying is, if people want to hate it, cool. Like, hate it. Because the actual people that are playing the game are like, oh, this is a good game. And people that are watching people play the game are like, oh, it looks like a good game. If you ever want to know how fast you can get these things done around the house, just wait for the game that you can't stop playing. Not only will it mid-max the game, but you also will mid-max life so you can play. Facts. It's facts. My son wanted to play, what was he playing? He wanted to play Vampire Survivor. Okay, he wanted to play Vampire Survivor with him and his cousin and me. And I said, we're not playing until you complete your list. And he was just like, okay. It usually takes him an hour and a half to complete most things. He cleaned his room, right? He cleaned his room, folded his laundry, got me his other laundry to put in the laundry, did that laundry himself, and took the trash out 15 minutes. Back on that couch, ready to play. Those are facts, Krebsy. Clip says, definitely a 7 out of 10 game. It's my game of the year, like Angry Joe likes to say. It's got badass seal of approval. Mr. G says, 30, did you get the secret mushroom cave underneath the village where the magic kids are? The fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? I found mushrooms. I haven't found a mushroom cave. I haven't even been to the fairyland yet. I got invited to the thing, but I haven't been there yet. It sounds like you're high on something to be like, hey 30, did you find the secret mushrooms? The cave? It's underneath the village where the magic kids are. Okay. Sounds good. Did you find the mushroom cave? I mean, no, I haven't. I haven't found the mushroom cave. I did have to find some pine mushrooms, and every time I was getting the fucking pine mushrooms, I was getting stabbed in the neck and being passed out and then thrown 400 meters away. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop trying to find these pine mushrooms. Someone's just coming in right now going, what the hell is this guy talking about? Don't ask. If you have to ask, then you don't know. There are mushrooms that'll they gas you. There's these. I'll put it out there. There's these big red mushrooms in the game. Okay, and if you get near them, they shoot out a gas and you get paralyzed. Oh, you want to show? It is a funny video. Hold on, I'll play this. Hold on. This is exactly how it is to play. What's his
I am Mighty Keith.
Bro, did you hear about... Whoa. Everything good, bro? What happened?
Is it possible to be held hostage by a video game?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, to really play a video game that gets you so upset, but at the same time, you can't stop playing.
You mean like League of Legends?
No. Well, yes, but I'm talking about Crimson Desert. It's the worst, best game I've ever played.
I have no idea how to interpret this.
It's simple. When you play this game, you're going to think it's either the biggest pile of turd juice or the best game you've ever played. And both answers are correct.
I think there's a hotline for whatever.
Yeah, it is true. Both are correct. You can't have a wrong answer. You can't have a wrong answer.
Whatever's happening right now.
I have spent hours both fighting bandits and fighting with these horrible controls, and yet I'm still here. No matter how angry I get, that dopamine rush of going across the map and finding some rare armor, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I'm seeing this game as dragons, mechs, jetpacks, medieval armor, and orcs. What is the theme of this game?
Who cares? Who cares?
Yes.
Also, why would a jetpack drain your stamina?
Because this game don't make no damn sense.
It's just gas. You run out of fuel.
And I love it.
Hey man, it sounds like you being held hostage. If you want, I can call the police. No, you're black.
For everything I love about the game, I hate some about the game. The controls, for whatever reason, are just horrible. Whoever designed it just threw a randomizer on whatever button they think should go.
That's not true. That's not true, but it is funny.
To whatever action and just said, fuck it.
That's crazy. And still, Steam is saying you put 40 hours into this game. What part of the main quest are you on?
Let me check real quick. Chapter 1. Bro.
I have 83 and a half hours in this game. I have 2 achievements.
Did I just see a man whip out a sword and then you RKO him? So like, what do you do after something like that happens? Because you can't go back to town. You just got RKO'd by a dude wearing a goat mask.
That's nothing, bro. I could do the Azuna drop into an RKO, into archery, into some type of sword attack that has ice elements into it, and then I could summon a whole ogre to just knock out all the enemies afterwards. Brother, this game don't know what it wants to be, so I gotta decide for it.
How does all this randomness even formulate into the story?
Story?
Gotcha.
We got Korean Witcher, starring generic bearded man number 96 before GTA 6.
This game seems like an ADHD person's paradise.
The game just got so much, bro. I don't know what to do. At one moment, I'm fighting bandits. Next, I'm carrying an outlaw on a raptor mount 1,000 miles away from...
Wait, there's a raptor mount? Dude, what am I missing? What am I missing? There's a raptor in this game?
The nearest precinct, and then why the hell not?
I don't know if he's making that up. I don't know if he's making that up.
While I'm at it, let me
hold on. Let me.
Wait, one moment I'm fighting bandits. Next, I'm carrying an outlaw on a raptor mount 1,000 miles away from the nearest precinct. And then why the hell not? While I'm at it, let me just start farming and crafting on my base camp. Wow. There are bugs that throw my character under the level, and it makes me want to throw myself out of a window. And the question
I haven't had that happen. I haven't had a problem like that.
Structure is absolutely abysmal, but Lord, I can't stop playing it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get that hotline number, bro. You need help. This is probably the best game to ever be made. But at the same time, it's the worst game I've ever played, bro.
Wait. Rewind.
I'm gonna go ahead and get that hotline number, bro. You need help. This is probably the best game to ever be made.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's the worst game I've ever played.
Brother, you are not making any sense.
Neither does this damn game.
Or that's
yeah. That's funny. Yeah, everything he said was true. Except I don't know if there's raptors. I don't know if there's a raptor. There might be a raptor. There's a dragon. There's a mech. There's a bunch of shit. I'm not going to deny it. Yeah, it just you feel. I haven't got to the. I watched heel versus babyface again. There was. It's funny because I watched a couple of different people, and at one moment they're like, someone comes in their chat and says, "How's the game?" And they're like, "It's fantastic. I love it. It's. I'm having a blast. Then he's just doing something very simplistic. He's not fighting 1,000 guys. He's doing something very simplistic. He's trying to, like, pick up something. He's like, pick up the fucking thing. And he's screaming at the top of his lungs. Okay? Screaming at the top of his lungs. And he's like, I'm done. I can't play anymore. I got to take a break. And it's like, what happened? It wasn't like something major happened. It was just like the controls were just, he was so frustrated, pulled him over the edge. Right? Or they can't figure out a puzzle. Not but another person I was watching couldn't figure out the puzzle. And they're like, what am I supposed to do? And they literally wanted to punch the guy was like, and then he stopped. And then he was like thinking about it. And I'm like, are they performing or do they really feel this way? I haven't got to the point, again, doesn't say not going to happen, but I haven't got to the point where I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Just kind of frustrated. The closest you got to see was when I was trying to figure out how to send guys on the dispatch. Couldn't figure it out. It doesn't tell you. It does now. But it didn't tell you when the game came out. It's like, yeah, go to the map, highlight the thing, press Y, go to dispatch, go to fax. It didn't say any of this. I think one of the trailers showed a raptor. I don't remember a raptor. I remember a lot of different things. I'm not saying that I didn't see it. I just don't remember it. The controls on the camera right here are the biggest enemy in the games. Yeah, if you fight... Okay, perfect example. Last night, I was fighting the black bear guys. And I had to fight a boss. Right? And it was up this tower. Well, it wasn't in a tower. He's down below at the bottom of the tower. So I snuck around the base, climbed up the tower, the watchtower, light the fire on the tower, and then I looked down and saw him, so I shot down at the boss thinking, okay, I can sit up here and maybe chip away at him a little bit. The dude came running up the stairs. So the tower is really tight. Like I had to go into first, like not first person, but the closest that you can, because you can't fight in first person. So you can't be wide out because the camera doesn't go in, so it starts to clip through the wall. So I pushed in. He comes running up the stairs, and now I'm fighting. The dude is as wide as the staircase. And I can't do anything. So now I'm fighting him down a staircase, up a staircase, down a staircase, and the camera's going. And I was like, so I just spamming. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna kill this guy. Right, just going off. I run to the top, run around the spire where the fire is, jump back down. Then he would come back down the other direction, and I would hit him again. I was like, what the fuck is happening? But I was having so much fun. I didn't give a shit that the camera was doing this. I was like, it'll end. I don't need to see anything. I mean, we're stuck in a hallway. I couldn't go anywhere or do anything. So I was just like, yeah, that's fine. Speaking of towers in the game, did you know you can burn the archer towers by aiming your sword light and will eventually burn people alive in the tower? So badass. I didn't know that. I knew you could smash them down and have them fall out. I know you could light the fires up on top of the fire, top of the thing. You could burn a lot of stuff in this game. People who made this are pyros for sure. For sure. Is it a fact that there's a raptor in the game? I need fact if it's not a rumor. All right, well let's find out, shall we, Ray? Let's find out if there is a raptor in Crimson Desert. There is a raptor. There's 100% a raptor. 100%. Okay. Hold on. I don't want. Okay, let's do this. There it is. That's a raptor. Oh, did you give me one? I didn't even look in Discord. You gave me in Discord? That's not a raptor. That's not a raptor, Travis. That's a chocobo, or whatever the fuck it is, from like Final Fantasy. What are we talking about? That's not a raptor. It's a giant bird. That's like a big bird. Twisted Logic says, I think I will have to check this out. Yeah. Now I have to find this raptor. Looked like he was in the desert. I'll probably find that around hour 174. Because I'm 83 and I'm still in the first section. So I don't think I'm going to find that raptor anytime soon. This is a dodo. It's a big dodo from Ark. I didn't know that was in the game either, by the way. Didn't know that was in the game. I'm having a blast, and we're going to end it here. I'm having a blast just going around exploring stuff, not looking stuff up, being absolutely like just point A, point B, whatever happens. I'm like, hey, I'm going to walk down this street, and all of a sudden I see a tower up there, and I'm like, I'm going to go up the tower. I'm going to go up the mountain. I'm going to do this. And then later, if I find something or there's a quest that goes up the same place, I'm like, I've been here before. PS5 says IGN gives Sony stuff high scores and low scores to people that say no to Sony. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but you could definitely see it. Apparently, there are desert and forest raptors. Did you guys find the hell was it? First of all, have you guys come across a wolf fighting a bear? Have you seen that? Just randomly, just a bear fighting a wolf. I've come across so much wildlife animals, like fighting each other. It's crazy. The bear won. Not only did the bear win, but then the bear saw me after it attacked the wolf and then tried to kill me, and then I won. I beat the bear. Although, have you been mauled by a bear yet? Eclipse, have you been mauled by a bear? Let me tell you something. It's pretty gruesome. The bear will grab you and put him in your mouth, and you have to press the little thing pops up, a little mini game that you have to try to break free. And if you don't break free, he starts playing with you and starts like tossing you up in the air and stuff like that. The amount of things that happen in this game, you're like, they programmed that? No, that doesn't count, Travis. No, I haven't ran into bears yet. I restarted my playthrough on Xbox because it works on PC now. Oh, I don't know if I could restart. I was thinking about it. After I'm done, when I'm done, I might pick it up for PC. I'm not sure yet, though. Excuse me. I saw you could steal a lion from a circus and ride it. And all the non-horse mounts seem to be temporary only, not permanent. I saw the circus. I found it last night, actually. I found the circus last night, and there's a fucking rhino. I don't know if you could ride the rhino. I couldn't ride that rhino. But there's a rhino. There's a hippopotamus. There's a lion that you can get on. And while you sit on it, it says attack. So apparently you can get a lion out in the wild. I don't know if you can keep it as a mount, but pretty fucking cool. Altered says, by the time you're out, the steam machine might be out. Very true. Clip says, hey, fix it. There's also 5 new mounts that are permanent. I know they put mounts in. I know what they are. Or 4 of them. I know 4 of them. I know there's a bear, there's a wolf, there's an elk, and then there's a boar. I don't know what the 5th one is. They put legendary mounts in. I read the patch notes. August says, I might pick it up on PC if they have a handheld for the ROG Ally. They said they might come out for the Switch 2. I don't know how this thing's going to fucking run on the Switch 2, but good luck to you. I mean, Red Dead is a good game. Great game. Love Red Dead. This game, though, speaking of it, it's time for me to go so I can go to the store so I can start playing this game. We'll be back tonight. To play some more Crimson Desert. If you don't know, I have another channel. It's my gaming channel, just 30 and Still Gaming. It's just me playing video games. If you guys want to come by, 30 and Still Gaming. Links in the description down below. Appreciate it very much. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Listen to the music that we've created. We play it in the beginning of the show. I'll play one going out on the outro. But yeah, I appreciate everyone coming out and hanging out with us. Oh, did I close the wrong? I closed the wrong one. I just remember. Remember that Helldivers 2 is a great game too. It is, and it came out 2 years ago. So there's that. We played it on Thursday. We did play it on Thursday, Craig, over on our other channel. So, all right, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Yeah. There's a difference. Not all money is the same. Listen up. Hey, yo, a customer is earned, that's respect on the line. They don't drop a single dollar till your product is refined. They're checking quality, value, the service, the vibe. If you treat them like it matter, they'll stay with you for the ride. But a consumer, man, they buying on impulse. No standards, no questions, they don't care what the bill does. Bad game, bad merch, wrong size, doesn't matter. They keep paying every time like their wallets on auto scatter. Whoa. Customer, consumer, tell me who you trying to move, bro. One pays cause they see your worth, the other pays for anything on earth. Customer, consumer, 2 different lanes, 2 different futures. One you heartbeat facts. It's the paycheck that they grind for, breaking they back. So if they choose you, man, you better give it right back. With loyalty, quality, value intact. But a consumer, they swipe without thinking. It could break in 2 seconds, they'll still cop without blinking. They follow hype trends, whatever's in season. No logic, no filter, and barely a reason. Customer, consumer, tell me who you trying to move, bruh. One pays cause they see your worth, the other pays for anything on earth. Customer, consumer, 2 different lanes, 2 different futures. One you earn, one's just sooner. Yeah, there's levels to the user. If you building something real, you better act like it. You want customers, then show them where your craft's sitting. Cause a consumer's just a coin toss transaction, but a customer that's trust, loyalty, interaction. So who you hustle for? Who you really trying to reach? The one to hold you accountable, or the one who don't care what you preach? Customers build your kingdom, that's word to the wise. Consumers light it up quick and vanish in a disguise. Customer, consumer, one believes, one's a rumor. One invests in the work you do, one buys anything just cause it's new. Customer, consumer, 2 paths, choose your future. One is earn, one buy sooner. There's a difference, don't confuse them. Yeah, know who you're selling to, it changes everything.